gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bungie, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck
Started
is the
off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
40.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
GM, welcome to Coffee with Captain. I'm Cap, no co-host today, but multiple guests. Looking forward to a couple of great conversations, including the one and only Figge, going to be joining us at 9 o'clock-ish to talk all things Other Side and the Clubhouse and promise some alpha. So don't miss it, and appreciate the help in advance for helping things get warmed up here. The love on the audio spaces, the X video will be greatly appreciated, as well as head over to YouTube and smash that like and subscribe button while you're over there. Alpha is in the YouTube chat. It doesn't disappoint. GM Thomas and Web3 Warhead, excuse me, as well as Teacher Katie over in the Abstract chat. I didn't even check my Abstract XP this week. The question is, before I check, did I get more or less than 100 XP on the week? I'm guessing less without checking. I'm guessing I'm continuing to get nerfed over there, and they don't care about us streamers, but I digress. I'm excited. We've got official confirmation. We'll be heading off to Vegas for both Bitcoin Vegas as well as Dominion at the end of the month. If you're going to be in Vegas, let me know. Not only will we get you hooked up with a discount code for Dominion, but would love to break bread, grab some coffee. Probably not going to be doing a live coffee with Captain out there, mainly because it'll be 6 a.m. Vegas time, and I think that's quite a bit to ask of anyone in Vegas. It's either one of two things. Either you'll sleep in, or you will be staying up the night before and joining us. And I'm not sure that's best. I'm not sure that's best for a live show environment to have people running on zero sleep. So we'll be doing Coffee with Captain. Won't miss a show, but probably not. We'll be doing it from my hotel room at 6 a.m. Prior to, well, we're going to be hitting up Bitcoin Vegas, secured the press pass, and looking forward to interviewing Mr. Saylor. I kid, I don't think I'm interviewing Saylor, but I would if Mr. Saylor, if you're interested, DMs are open. But we'll be hitting up Bitcoin Vegas for at least a day, and then Looking forward to my first Dominion conference from our friends at DOMA. Like I said, Figge going to be joining us at 9 o'clock, so appreciate the love getting things warmed up. We got a segment to get to right before that, so going to jump right into things. On the, I do have one cold open topic, and actually I have two. One is Tampa St. Pete is the alpha. If you are looking for a new place to live, just in hot off the press, 9 best places for millennials specifically, they say. I don't know why millennials. I don't know why millennials, but that's what the people are saying. People are saying the 9 best places to live for millennials. Top of the list is Tampa, followed by Nashville, Research Triangle, which is Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill in North Carolina, the home of Duke and North Carolina University. University of North Carolina? North Carolina University. How do they say it? Doesn't matter. Austin, Texas, Washington, D.C., Des Moines, Iowa, St. Pete. So Tampa, St. Pete, the only two, maybe the only two in the same state. Yeah, the only two in the same state, let alone the only two that are the same MSA, the only two that are adjacent to each other. Only a bridge separates Tampa, St. Pete. And number 1 and number 7 on the list, New York and Charlotte. There's definitely 2 in the same state. Research Triangle and Charlotte, North Carolina also made the list at 3 and 9, but 1 and 7 beats 3 and 9. So if you're going to move somewhere, move to Tampa, St. Pete or Charlotte. I kid you not, so this is many years ago when I was looking to move, wanted to get out of the Midwest. I explored both coasts of Florida and Carolina, looked at the Charlotte market, looked at specifically Research Triangle as a place to relocate to, and opted for the warmer climate. But it is, for many reasons, it is a great place to call home as well. I am going to jump right into things. Oh, I have one other important cold open topic, and then we'll get rolling. Appreciate all the love on the space, getting things warmed up. You all are legends, and again, give us let your 8 friends know that Figge's going to be joining us at 9 o'clock. We'd love to have a full house for Figge. And like I said, I probably should have 3 cold open topics, because my guy Duke is in a heated war with this squirrel. It's one particular squirrel who the squirrel just F's with him every day. Yesterday, Duke went toe-to-toe with a rabbit and just stared at this rabbit, but doesn't bark at it. It just stares at the rabbit right outside the bird cage. The squirrel, on the other hand, gets on the cage. I don't know how to keep the squirrel off the bird cage, and barks at Duke, barks at the dog, knows the dog can't get him, and so just taunts him. And they went. Maybe I'll share the video tomorrow. I don't have time to get into it today, but the other cold open topic I wanted to share was a proud dad moment. My daughter got named to lacrosse all-star team here in Tampa for 1A girls district. Pretty pumped. State tournament districts start on Fridays. Their first game actually started yesterday, but they secured the 1 seed in the district and had a bye. So their first game is at home on Friday, and should they win that, they get one more home game before they have to start traveling for the tournament. Yeah, pretty pumped, Mel. Pretty pumped. I don't have any regrets, and I don't think she does either. But I do wish. I think for as much as I supported my kids' journeys in sports and all the club teams and travel soccer and travel volleyball and quite literally if you have kids in travel sports, the tens of thousands of dollars that we put into sports, probably the least costly sport in terms of investment was lacrosse, primarily because she didn't start until she was a freshman in high school, only did travel a few seasons, and it was regional travel. It wasn't anything remotely close to the intense travel that was for her. It was travel volleyball, and for her sister was travel soccer, all across the country. Travel lacrosse for her was really just regional. I don't think we had even one overnight. It was mostly just localized. And I wish we had got her started in it sooner because, and I'm sure similar exists in volleyball and soccer maybe as well, but I feel lacrosse is so much more niche that, and I just don't think it's played everywhere in the US like soccer and softball and volleyball is. The opportunity to get not only play at the next level, but to get full rides, D1 scholarships, I think it's like a hack. So if you have kids, if you have athletic daughters in particular, I would say lacrosse for guys is probably similar. But if you have athletic daughters, consider lacrosse. Put a lacrosse stick in their hands, see if they enjoy the game. If they enjoy the game, let them support their journey because while she had a good run and team's doing well, their best season ever as far as her high school team. She made the all-star team and they won their district. I think this team is like, I'm not saying they can't. I hope they make a deep run into the state playoffs this year. I think they might be one of the favorites to win states next year. Sadie's obviously going to be graduating, but they've got a junior who's scored 57 goals this season already in 12 games and already has a full ride to Oregon, a D1 college. We've got their goalie, I think, will also secure a full scholarship. She's a junior, and they have a sophomore who also has like 50 goals on the season. Two sophomores that are actually probably both on their way to a D1 scholarship. And these girls are really good. They're talented athletes. I'm biased, I know. I'd say my daughter's just as good as an athlete. It's just these other girls started playing lacrosse like when she started playing volleyball. Like, I don't know. I can't even remember how old she was, but very young. And the girls who started playing lacrosse that age are you can just tell. It's just very unlike, I don't know if you could tell as easy on volleyball. And maybe volleyball, like girls with height advantage have a distinct advantage, but in lacrosse, you can just tell both on her team and on other teams, the girls who got sticks in their hands when they were, 5 or 6 years old, they just, they just look different. They move different. They handle the stick different. And that's the alpha. That is my parental advice. If you've got athletic kids, get a lacrosse stick, put it in their hands, see if they enjoy it. And if so, support their journey. I think it could very well pay for college. That said, congrats to my daughter. Proud of her, proud dad moment. I don't think she'll ever hear this, but if she does someday, if she ever listens back, catches the recording, catches the highlights, Sade, I am proud of you and your journey. 8:13, a lot to cover here in the next half hour. Let's thanks for all the kind words. Greatly appreciate it. Suyan says, forget crypto, please share video of Duke and the squirrel. I'll do this. If we get 100 live in the audio spaces before 8:30, I'll drop the video. I should watch the video first because I don't think there's anything. We got the BZ Q1 blog live. I'm going to pin that up top. I should have watched the video, but I'm going to, if we get 100 live in here, there's 58 live in the audio space right now. Collectively, we're well over 100, but I will, would love to have the audio space warmed up before our guest at 8:45, and then Figge joins us at 9. And so if we get a full crowd in here before 100 concurrent before 8:30, I'll drop the Duke versus Squirrel Dog video. I don't think I curse or say anything, but I do yell at him because he jumped up feet on the screen, and I don't normally yell. I don't yell at my kids, or at least I really pride myself on not doing that. And same thing with my dog. I don't normally yell. But I did not want to see my dog go through the screen, and so he got a quick disciplined yell. I'm catching up on the title here. Adam back is Satoshi. So says the New York Times. They did a 1-year investigative story, and the best prediction market trader says 99% yes. This is Duma, who replied to Adam, who said, Adam back said, Let me just see if I can find this post from Adam. I'll share it on the screen here. Thanks, Bunch, for sharing that. I was not aware of Doomer being the best predictor, number one trader on prediction markets. I've seen several say, like Tim Copeland's another, so this is by far the most compelling evidence, by far the best, not just compelling evidence, but a lot of people giving a lot of love on the article, like actual journalism once again. And Adam says, I'm not Satoshi, to which many others said, actually, some compelling evidence. So I'm curious, as we go through this, I will read the article. I'll read, our guy Steve had a good summary for those who don't have, New York Times subscription. And I'll also give you Grok's thoughts as well here in a minute. But I'm searching for this one response. I'm trying to get pulled up here, and then we will jump right into it. But yeah, let me know, do you think BAYC is Satoshi? Do you think he's not Satoshi? This will start with the reply, and then we'll get into the actual article. Again, if you haven't done so, give us some love on the space. Would appreciate it. Especially those we've talked apes all week. We've had a full house in here Monday and Tuesday. I want to make sure we get a full house for Figge. So Adam says, I am not Satoshi, but I was early in laser focus on positive societal implications of cryptography, online privacy, and electronic cash. Hence my 1992 onwards active interest in applied research on eCash, privacy tech, and cypherpunks list, which led to Hashcash and other ideas. Doomer, who per Bunchu is the best prediction market trader, says 99% chance that you're Satoshi. After reading the article, I'm going with a 99% chance that you're Satoshi. Such obvious tells. The disappearing act is classic mafia/werewolf rookie error. Willing to give you 10-to-1 odds that you can prove to Karyu's satisfaction that you're unlikely to be Satoshi. Mel believes Satoshi is a woman. Let's do this. Let me first share the, let me go get Steve's post. It does a good job of breaking it down. And then I will share, I know I've said this before, but I'm still blown away how poor Twitter search is. It just makes no sense. You know who I'm searching for. I promise you. Get better AI. We got Adam we got Andrew gonna join us, give his thoughts on whether he thinks Satoshi is Adam or not. And I'd be curious to hear yours as well. I'm gonna pull Steve's. We're doing this in reverse order. We will get. I actually won't share the. I think I'm probably fine to share that, but I'm not going to share the actual article since it is paywall gated. But you can see the headline: the Bitcoin's founder, Satoshi Nakamoto, has remained hidden for 17 years. A trail of clues in a year of digging by a reporter, John Kiryu, led us to a 55-year-old computer scientist in El Salvador named Adam BAYC. Steve says, TLDR to those who don't want to read the whole New York Times article. John Kiryu, the journalist who exposed the Theranos fraud, spent a year building the case that Adam BAYC is Satoshi. BAYC essentially blueprinted every core Bitcoin concept on cypherpunk mailing list a decade before Bitcoin launch. BAYC went silent on those lists exactly when Satoshi appeared, then resurfaced right after Satoshi vanished. That I think is the disappearing act, classic mafia werewolf rookie mistake that Doomer says. Text analysts scanned 34,000 users across 3 cryptography mailing lists and 134,000 posts, filtered to 620 who discussed digital cash. From there, layering in Satoshi's writing quirks, British spellings, hyphenation errors, obscure crypto terms, narrowed it to one person, BAYC. When confronted in person, BAYC denied it, but allegedly slipped into first person when responding to a Satoshi quote. Satoshi email exchanges with everyone, including other candidates like Hal Finney, are pretty straightforward. The 2008 emails with BAYC are an anomaly containing contradictions that even BAYC himself has publicly acknowledged didn't add up. When asked to provide the metadata for those emails, BAYC refused. I personally still think this is Steve saying, I personally still think there's convincing case for Hal Finney, or that it's a consortium of people, but this is the most methodical, I need Steve to read his own quote, evidence-dense case I've seen for a single Satoshi candidate, certainly more convincing than the documentary Money Electric that settled on Peter Todd. I agree with Steve's take. I think it's likely a group of people, and I think Adam might be one of those groups of people. That would be where I net out, just like I think we might have landed on the moon, but I think the moon landing video was all shot in a studio, if we did land on the moon. Real quick digression, kind of underwhelmed by this Artemis journey. I have watched, I paid attention a little bit. I didn't watch the entire live stream. I don't know. It's kind of underwhelming. Like, can we get some video maybe? There's been a handful of like still pictures, still photographs. I don't know, just kind of underwhelmed. Thought we'd be seeing more stuff. Also, and I know this has been addressed before, but where are the stars? Like, where are the stars in these pictures? Anyways, not going to get off on that. That is definitely another quote open topic for another day. That'll be maybe Friday fun. We can do a deep dive on Artemis, real or not real, just like Adam BAYC, Satoshi or not Satoshi. But yeah, Andrew, real quick, am I wrong for asking, like, can we see some more video? Like, I don't care about like the video interviewing the astronauts of, what, their favorite soda is, but like turn the video on outside. Let's see some of the, the video of the moon, not just pictures. Am I out of line here for asking for more video?
Cap, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. After all this stuff that's happened in the past, 2, 3, 4 decades, I want to see all that proof and then some.
Yeah.
To be honest, all that proof, then some. Elon actually made a funny tweet, I think yesterday or this morning. Like him or hate him, speaks his mind. It is what it is. I think he literally posted something like, "Can't wait to go to space." Or yeah, so NASA made this post, "Sky full of stars." Da da da. Elon is like, "One day we will be out there among the stars." It's kind of a little bit of a light jab, it feels like to me, that he thinks that the entire moon landing scenario there is not that true. The way that it's written, at least the way that I understood that it was written. Obviously, context can be taken out when it's tweeted, but I think it was pretty clear with that one sentence what he was taking a jab at.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the rest of my thoughts for another day because it could send us down a rabbit hole that we don't have time for this morning. But
yeah,
I'll just say underwhelmed very much with this coverage of Artemis. Just thought we would see a lot more, not only a lot more video and a lot more stuff. I don't know. If I'm NASA and it's real, I would. I don't know. Again, I digress. I'm trying to hold myself back from going there because really don't have time this morning. Hard pivoting back into Adam BAYC and is he Satoshi? Is he not Satoshi? And Andrew, I would like to get your thoughts on this. I'm going to give you Grok's. We got Steve's summary. I'm going to give you Grok's summary, and then whether Grok thinks BAYC is Satoshi or not, and then we'll get Andrew back in here. This is how Grok broke it down. Again, this is about the article is about Adam BAYC, the British cryptographer and Blockstream CEO, not Beck. Oh, I must have put Adam BAYC when I asked Grok. Yes, Adam BAYC. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I got the titles right across the board. Yeah, we are correct. Adam BAYC. So Grok says, in this piece, Carrie Yu describes the year-long investigation that started with hundreds of potential Satoshi candidates, as we talked about, and then systematically does a linguistic and stylometric analysis to plus manual cross-checking of technical ideas and ideology. The filters progressively narrowed the field down until only one person remained. It's the 55-year-old BAYC. The article does not claim absolute proof or present new forensic smoking gun evidence, private keys, or documents. Instead, it builds a circumstantial case around a unusually tight trail of coincidences in writing style, phrasing, technical analogies, and the worldview that the author says no other candidate matched as cleanly. BAYC is quoted as denying he is Satoshi. He's done so for years and appeared tense when pressed off camera in a prior HBO documentary. The article frames the conclusion that the strongest working theory the author reached after previously chasing other leads, including for an earlier book project. Here's the 3 to 5 most compelling facts or statements supporting BAYC as Satoshi per the article. Number 1, the linguistic fingerprinting narrowed 562 subjects to only BAYC. The team applied successive filters for rare, consistent quirks that Satoshi exhibited. British spellings like color, spelled C-O-L-O-U-R, realize. I could never be Satoshi because my linguistic fingerprinting is one of a kind. So if there's ever I wouldn't even attempt to become some anonymous or pseudo-anonymous individual because I would give myself away with pronunciations and misspellings. Anyways, alternating hyphenization, so email versus e-mail, check versus check, confusion around its and its, sentences frequently ending with the word also, in specific punctuation habits. Every other candidate was eliminated. BAYC was the sole survival on the final shortlist. Near identical phrasing on being better at coding than words arguments. In 96, personally, this is BAYC, said, personally, I think I'm better at coding than constructing convincing arguments. Satoshi, the 12 years later, said it's very attractive to a libertarian viewpoint if we can explain it properly. I'm better with code than with words, though. The article calls this one of the most striking direct echoes. 3, almost verbatim technical, why can't I speak?
It's Wednesday, Cap. It's okay.
It is Wednesday. I actually thought it was Tuesday a little bit ago, so that's explained thing. Analogy. Why can I not say the word? I may have to phone a friend to have Steve help me pronounce a simple word like I don't know, true brain fart this morning. Anyways, comparing Napster centralized. This is like if you missed it, I'll pin Payne's video, his clip from me pronouncing Pokemon characters. We will make this a bit going forward, an actual recurring segment of what can Cap mispronounce today. We had those Pokemon fans especially got some kick out of me attempting to pronounce different Pokemon characters. Anyways, BAYC used the exact Napster verse. I'm just going to call it Nutella. We'll say it's a silent G example in May of 2000. It was a post to illustrate the superiority of peer-to-peer networks. Satoshi made the identical comparison on November 6th of 2008 when introducing Bitcoin. The article notes this was not a widely used analogy at the time. Matching libertarian/crypto anarchist ideology expressed in nearly the same language back in 96. To me, crypto anarchy is a means to achieve a more libertarian government, unquote. Satoshi expressed the same core idea of reducing government power through cryptography and code over regulation in multiple 2008-2009 posts, including the libertarian viewpoint line above. The article shows several overlapping passages on efficiency, distributed systems, and skepticism of central authority. And last but not least, number 5, BAYC's foundational technical contributions were directly cited by Satoshi, and he had the exact expertise profile. BAYC invented Hashcash, the proof-of-work system. Satoshi explicitly credits in Bitcoin's white paper and early emails. He also had a PhD-level background in distributed systems and had proposed combining Hashcash with WeDay's B-Money years earlier. Ideas that map closely onto Bitcoin's architecture. The article treats this as strong circumstantial context that fits its linguistic and ideological matches. The piece is careful to note that BAYC denies the theory and attributes the overlaps to coincidence or shared cyberpunk influences. Kiriou presents it as the most compelling candidate his reporting uncovered rather than definitive proof. Here's what Grok had to say. I think the New York Times piece is seriously impressive piece of investigative journalism. Kiriou spent a year grinding through archives and stylometric tools and manual cross-checks. And the circumstantial case he builds for Adam BAYC is tighter than anything else out there. The linguistic fingerprints, British spellings, also at the end of sentences, specific hyphen quirks, plus those near verbatim phrasing matches in the Napster Nutella Why am I so hung up on this word today? It's wild to me. Like, it's really like, I'm going to go down speaking of going down a rant, like why, for whatever reason, just in this, as it's positioned here, I'm really struggling with, I don't know, can't say it. My brain is completely fried. Throwing back's Hashcash invention being cited in the white paper. And the weird thing is I just said it a little bit ago, so I don't know why my brain is not firing. Maybe there's something else to unpack here, but we'll save that for another day as well. His exact cypherpunk era ideas on digital cash and the timeline of him going quiet on the list right when Satoshi appeared is the strongest single candidate theory I've seen. That said, still not convinced it's proven. Here's the honest breakdown. The good, this isn't some lazy Dorian Nakamoto gotcha or HBO docu speculation. The filters eliminate hundreds of other cypherpunks and left only back. The ideological and technical overlaps are too specific to dismiss as pure coincidence. If you're going to bet on one person based on public evidence alone, Back is currently the front runner. The skepticism is stylometry on a 15 to 20-year-old forum post isn't foolproof. Shared subculture language, confirmation bias, and small sample size can produce false positives. We've seen it with other candidates. Back has denied it again today, flatly on X, calling it a coincidence and confirmation bias, and repeating the classic, we are all Satoshi. He has been, this also, I know he said this, I know he's like, I think where I net out now, I think it is multiple people. I agree with Steve. I think Back is one of them. So I think it was a group of people, and I think Back is in the group. That's where after all this, that's where I'm netting out. Is it wasn't just one person; it was a team of people, and Back is on that team. It was probably Back and Finney were two, would be my guess. Who else? I don't know, but I think those were probably two of the individuals. It says he's been consistent for years. There's still zero cryptography proof, no signed message from Satoshi keys, no movement of the early coins. The bigger picture: Satoshi's anonymity was deliberate and now part of Bitcoin's DNA. The real value is in the code and the network, not the person. Even if Back were Satoshi, the mystery has arguably done more good than harm by keeping the project decentralized in spirit. Bottom line, the article is worth reading, moves the needle to the most plausible theory scoreboard, but it's still circumstantial until someone produces the private key smoking gun. I'm filing this under extremely interesting but unproven. The crypto's community reaction today, mostly eye rolls, not again, reflects the same healthy skepticism. What do you think, Andrew? Is Adam Back Satoshi or not?
Yeah, I have a follow-up question. Do we know Back's relationship to Epstein?
So Epstein files, anyone has the exact details, mentions talking to the Bitcoin guys, I believe he called it. So a group of people, but I think really referencing you just like the early devs, some of the core devs early on. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was he was seeking an introduction from JCal, Jason Calacanis. And I don't think JCal fully understood Bitcoin at the time and thought these were like some crazy, crazy out there libertarian individuals, even though he was early, quote unquote, early to Bitcoin and told Epstein about Bitcoin or the Bitcoin guys. I don't think it was until later to where JCal fully understood what Bitcoin even was. But yeah, I don't think Back is mentioned by name in the Epstein files. Do you know?
No, I think I could have swore that somebody with the same MIT story you're referencing now, somebody was mentioned other than JCal. I don't know who the other person was, but I could have swore there was somebody else that might have been mentioned. I think if he's mentioned in the Epstein files and this crop reference for it, then I think there's like another strong indicator that like he's probably one of the likely candidates in the group that was involved in it. For what it's worth, I do think Epstein was involved in the early creation. How early?
Wait. You think he was involved in not just?
I think had his hand in the pot
in the creation of it.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. I mean, my personal opinion, I don't think he's involved in the creation of Bitcoin. But I do think he was. I think he was. Involved.
I don't think he wrote the code. For clarity, I don't think he wrote the code. But I do think he know who did write the code, and I do think he was aware of the spider web that was the group or is an individual that did it. Through actual doing of the tasks. But I do think that he was involved at capacity, whether it's from funding, whether it's from Rolodex. But I do believe that he was. It turns out when you go through those files in a separate Notion, the guy was involved in everything under the sun, especially in international affairs with other governments, which is incredible. So you'd have to assume that like one of the world's best technologies up to date, he was definitely aware about. because within that time he was still kind of good in the public eye. So I think there's another reason to believe that he was probably told about something at that level. He was, I think, privy to all sorts of information. So
it really is wild how, and I'm not trying to make this a big Epstein conversation. It is wild how insanely connected the guy was, and got there relatively quickly. It's kind of mind blowing that. I think the other thing to me is mind blowing is that someone, and maybe you could say, well, they got that connected because he had dirt on everyone. Like I don't know, man. It's hard for me to think like there's something like, it's wild that he used all his connections and clout for evil. Like you like, what else could the guy have done? Early to technology, early to Bitcoin, had so well connected, and yet chose to use his time for evil instead of, building something good. It's just, things we did not expect to get into today with all the news with Adam back as Satoshi. We're talking Epstein and why aren't there stars on the Artemis mission? But I digress. Andrew, I do want to get into a quick market update before we get our guests on. Was there anything else that caught your attention in the last 24 hours beside the Adam back being Satoshi and Anthropic, this Mythos? Were you paying attention to this Mythos drop from Anthropic? Any thoughts on that or anything else headline worthy?
I think it's the Anthropic thing is interesting. I think we're already kind of seeing that at a base level, the owner class is already.
Ooh, I lost you. Chat, is it just me or did everyone lose Andrew? Oh, yeah, we lost Andrew. No worries. X has been a little buggy. Double check your updates. Make sure you're on the most recent version of X. It's been a little finicky this week as a result of an update getting pushed, but we'll see if we can get Andrew back up here. Until then, let me do this. Let me do a quick play in. We'll get a quick market update. Markets are ripping, I guess, newsworthy. Trump did not end a civilization last night. Thankfully, looks like 2 weeks of ceasefire, and we'll see what comes out of that. But markets responded very well to the at least temporary pause in the Middle East conflict. But yes, head to Awaken Tax. This is our daily market update brought to you by Awaken Tax. Awaken.tax. Use code coffee50 or return coffee50 to save $50 off your tax prep. You got a week, kids. Go get your taxes done. Use Awaken for help. This is our daily market update.
The smart update time. Let's set the play. Powered by Awaken, the smart tax way. From crypto flips to DeFi stacks. They keep it clean. Got your back. Grab your coffee. Let's break it down. Daily update right now.
We also have, I shared Steve's post earlier today on his TLDR on this New York Times article regarding Adam and Satoshi. He is continuing, producer Steve got his producer hat on this morning, giving us some additional fill in the dots there, fill in the blanks. Epstein emailed Gavin Anderson, and Epstein said he spoke to some of the founders of Bitcoin and also donated to MIT to push digital currencies. One interesting thing now looking at emails, Epstein invested in BAYC's company in 2014. Probably missed some stuff, but that's some into that. That is interesting. So yes, I think Andrew asked the question, not only was BAYC mentioned in the Epstein files, Epstein invested in BAYC's company. That is interesting. Andreessen. Oh, Gavin Andreessen, as in Andreessen Horowitz. So very fitting that I continue the mispronunciations. Leaning hard into it this morning. So yeah, invest. That was an email to Andreessen of Andreessen Horowitz. And speaking of funny moon stuff, maybe my favorite picture I saw was someone turned Mark's head into the moon. I'll see if I can find that in a bit, but that made me laugh. Back to our daily market update, brought to you by Awaken Tax. Markets are ripping. Bitcoin's up 5% to 71,902. We crushed past that 6970K resistance level we talked about yesterday. ETH up 8% on the day to 2253. XRP up 5%. BNB up 2%. Solana up 7% to 84. Seems like just yesterday they were in the 70s, because they were. Doge up 4%. Hyper Liquid up 8% on the day. Man, I'm kicking myself for not opening that long when I asked about it. Someone was asking about Rect merchandise. They just launched a tease of new merch dropping tomorrow. Maybe not part of our daily market update, but we're making it part of our daily market update today. Big Rec fan, and even though I am gonna have to have some choice words though. Their nootropic cognizant or whatever it's called, it is not getting my brain to fire on all cylinders this morning. Nor I was running a little less sleep, so I did do the 20 grams of creatine this morning to increase my processing speed by 24.5%. It's not working. That article was incorrect. Zcash, holy cow, up 26% on the day. Insane. Like, I guess this is your sign that Adam Back might in fact be Satoshi, because he just sold a big Bitcoin stack and rolled it into Zcash. I kid, but really, really green day. Fear and greed also, one day after I said it was the most consecutive days we've been below 42, I think, Fear and greed breaks out of 42. So you're welcome for the coffee with Captain Pump. It doesn't always win, but it also, you could say it rarely fails, especially if it's talking bags that I don't personally hold. Heading over to NFTs, the story continues to be a positive one. Not as large of pumps as we saw in the tokens. However, keep in mind, these are priced in ETH. So even though CryptoPunks are only up 1% on the day, with ETH up 8%, that USD value of all these ETH-dominated NFTs is up bigly today as well. Pudgy's down 2% to 4.22. Mutants pulled back a little bit, down 6.9, just gave up 1 ETH. They're still at 0.98, however, up 40% from the week prior. Apes up 0.6% to 6.39. And the floor is thin, as the kids would say. Milady's down 1% to 1.18. Grifters down slightly. Little Pudgies down 3% to 0.44. Quirkies down 1% to 1.14. Moonbirds up 7% on the day to 0.88. Normies up again, almost 10% to 0.17. Azuki down slightly to 0.82. Inks 0.13. Another positive day for Gimbos. I feel like they've been up double digits every day since Mint. They minted at like 360, now up to 2,400 ape. Chrome, we're going to talk about another ape based project here momentarily. Chromie Squiggles flat to 2.55. Death and Taxes up 22% to 0.04. Speaking of Squiggles, I am still on the fence. I'm debating if I go for this. Rafik mint, I think on Saturday. Oil down 17% on the day. Payne, I hope you got your long closed before last night's news, because everything else is ripping. Oil resetting. And but yeah, that is our daily market update, brought to you by Awaken Tax. Awaken.tax. Use code coffee50 or return coffee50 for your $50 savings. And yes, as Dobbin says, 60% Coffee with Captain Pump works 60% of the time, every time. Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself. And while we haven't hit on the Masters this week, I am excited. I picked some Masters winners. I see we've got our guest in the green room. We will shift to that here very shortly. But I'll give you my Masters takes. Please do not follow me for financial advice. Certainly don't follow me for Masters betting advice, because I am not a golf pro nor a golf grinder. But I did listen to a podcast that told me the long shots to that have a chance. Matt Fitzpatrick, Cameron Young, Patrick Reed, and Chris Gotterup. Chris Gotterup, I think the rookie, the debutante. And normally they would say debutantes have no shot. Debutantes have no shot to win the Masters. I'm actually going to buy a little more right now on Gotterup, because I see he just dipped to 1%. I think it's different. I think it is different than past years, primarily because there's so much simulations out there. Like Augusta is a private club, hard to play. Now you can play Augusta with these golf sims are so realistic. I think that there's so much data, there's so much opportunity for them to train and get practice rounds in without an actual physical practice round. I think we see a debutante win the Masters. Maybe it's not got her up this year, but I think within the next few years, we see a debutante win the Masters for the first time. But yeah, thank you for all the kind words on my daughter's All-Star bid. Appreciate that, Jamber. Appreciate you all. And Jamber, I am going to get in touch with you. I appreciate you sharing the details on that apartment complex studio. Excited to look a little more into that. With that being said, let me do a proper play in here for our guest, the one and only Mr. Aaron Haber. This is Inside the Vault, brought to you by Unvault.
Yo, inside the vault, put royalties back on chain. Enforcement went optional, we bringing it back again. Freeze it at the source, then you move it with ease. Claim it where you land, one live, no duplicate keys. No rappers, no doubles, identity stays intact. Clean ownership trail, royalties paid, that's a fact. No, one live, no duplicate keys.
This is Inside the Vault, brought to you by Unvault. Really excited to have Aaron rejoining us. I know he's been traveling, so I'm not, unfortunately, for those of you that tune in for Inside the Vault, so you can get that live glimpse of Chewbacca. No Chewbacca today, but we do have Aaron, and excited to talk a little bit about Unvault and one of the builders that they're working with. Unvault, if you're not familiar, is helping everyone, new and old, migrate to new royalty protected migrate or launch a new contract that's multi-chain. It's got royalties protected. And I was going to get my royalty report for the week, and it looks like look, I haven't been rugged, but it looks like NFT Pulse was my go-to for all things. I don't know if they got bought. I'm just going to flash the screen, and then we'll get our guests on here. I see. Oh, we may actually have a Chewbacca. So for those of you that are tuning in for the Chewbacca sighting, stay tuned. This looks very different. NFT Pulse is where I usually get the royalty report, and it's there, but I'm not able to see by collections. They've changed. They changed how they're doing it. There used to be different tabs, so I don't know if they just got bought or what happened there, but it's reading more like a blog. Looks like they updated it on April 2nd. Not a fan of the changes. I don't know if Electric Capital's new. I don't know what happened here, but NFT Pulse was my go-to source for NFT reporting, specifically things like royalty data, and no longer there. Not a fan of the changes. I'll do some more digging after the fact, but I can go ahead and tell you that leading the chart is going to be projects like Quirkies. I see Poppy out there. Quirkies swifted to that royalty protected contract a long time ago. Paid a big, paid devs big money to get on that new contract. You see Normies, which launched like 10 smart contracts, new collection, protected royalties. All the top performers as of late, most of them anyways, are on royalty protected contracts. And if you're curious how you might be able to do that, you can get in touch with our guy Aaron here. Aaron, GM. I see we also have LL Cub King on stage. Welcome to Coffee with Captain. Aaron, appreciate you joining us as always. I hope I did Unvault a little bit of justice there. I know we're looking at big launch here coming up this month. And I think I share we got a kind of a tighter, usually we can carry on a little bit longer, but hard out today as we got another special guest joining us at the top of the hour. But anything else you wanted to share about Unvault, any updates before we get into your builder of the week?
Oh yeah, well, we are rocking and rolling. We have an internal. So just so everybody knows, Unvault is a couple of things. You kind of got it right? For existing collections, we can utilize your contract and duplicate it across many different blockchains: Abstract Base, Ape Chain, ETH Mainnet, Solana, just so you know, we're not just EVMs, Polygon, and Binance Smart Chain. And it's very easy for us to add EVMs, and we'll eventually expand on to other chains as well, perhaps Bitcoin ordinals. And it's not migration. It's not bridging. It's not burning. It is simply duplicating. We call them echoes. Big difference between echoes and shadows. There's no indexing. So it doesn't cost anything to be part of Unvault. It allows the holders of, let's say, alpha dogs to have their assets, their NFTs on any of those chains, but only one is active at a time. You lock up the rest of them. Nobody else can get to them except for the owner of the NFT, and it allows them to do all sorts of crazy things. The utility that exists on any of those chains, perks that exist on any of those chains, airdrops, NFT allow lists, etc., whatever it is. Plus, if they want to sell their alpha dog, and really who does, then they get that liquidity on all the different chains. And that is basically Unvault. And yes, there is one migration aspect of it. If you are not on a royalty enforced contract, we can get you on a royalty enforced contract very, very, very easily, but we don't burn the original assets. We keep them. We just lock them away until, you know, the people over at, like OpenSea and Magic Eden decide to actually honor royalties. Yeah, that's what it is. Look how good looking this dude is from Alpha Dogs. This is why I'm off camera today.
I about went off camera as well.
Thanks, boys.
Good morning. Welcome. Should I call you LL Cub King, or would you prefer a different a government name?
Cub King, either one, Cap.
Cub King it is.
That's on his birth certificate.
What's that?
That's on his birth certificate.
Oh, Cub King? Yeah. Well, hey, I yeah, I almost went on a rant about names. Someone was talking about you should get your name changed recently. It might have been a I don't know, some comedic bit. I've been my brain rot recently has been stand-up bits. So also you would appreciate it, Aaron. I think you've apparently X has known that you're hanging out with me at least once a week here on coffee, and it started you've infected my algorithm. It's now serving me up a lot more stand-up comedic brain rot.
Congratulations.
Thanks
for having us both today, Cap. Appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Good to be on. Aaron, thanks for the heads up today. Really gave us lots of notice. Appreciate you.
You are welcome. Listen, if you need more than 12 hours notice and 5 minutes for the link, then you're just not doing it right.
That's right. But no, we're glad to be here. I won't go on like a huge rant. I know we're up against a hard deadline with Figge coming on in a few minutes, but yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions on behalf of the community and just kind of see what you guys want to know about Alpha Dogs. We're obviously excited about what's happening with Unvault.
Tell us, I mean, I am curious what you're planning to do with Unvault, as Aaron gave us a better description than I did. Not only royalty protection, not only sharing the ability to share those royalties with your holders should you choose, but the ability to go multi-chain. My understanding, Alpha Dogs launch on Ape Chain. Are you planning on like what is your plans with Unvault? Would be my first question, and then would love to what can you tell us about Alpha Dogs?
Yeah, I think in regards to Unvault, you know, it seems to be the benefit of being here kind of in the beginning and in the first few projects with Unvault, and so Bad Ted Yacht Club being another one that get a few benefits from that, I believe, by unvaulting and having the divvy to use to reward our communities and not be worried about that legal side of things anymore. We have a WebTube business kind of structure that's worked in Bad Ted's, and we've kind of duplicated it over with the Alpha Dogs as well, where, you know, we sell actual, you know, supplements, and creatine being one. Cap, we'll have to get you some of that, and protein and gummy form.
Nice.
And so it's really about taking that business structure and being able to take money from that business and put it back into, you know, the royalty contract and all these things, and pay out people accordingly. So that's kind of, I think, what just made sense. It just seems to be everybody needs more volume. Everybody needs new eyes. Why not put yourself on as many chains as possible to do that? And I think, you know, Aaron and Ernest have done a great job kind of building that platform and hopefully educating everybody onto what these opportunities will look like in the future.
I love it. I'm a big fan of in real life, not just in real life meetups, and we'll talk about that a little bit with Figge here in a bit, but I'm a big fan of not just the in real life meetups, but the in real life businesses. As an entrepreneur myself and someone who's built a couple of businesses and proud of what we built here at the show in crypto and Web3. I've been getting the itch on doing another retail play, a retail venture or direct to consumer venture. And I'm not making excuses why I haven't moved forward yet. But part of what I want to do is I do want to connect the dots. I do want to not just slap it on chain or drop a token just because, but I do want to leverage blockchain technology to make the in real life business better. What first comes to mind is like, a new and improved loyalty program. I was talking about, I've been talking this week, not to shout out a competitor in terms of the pre-workout space, but I was talking about, Rect energy drink and how easy it was to claim some tokens that was just on a card with that. When you talk about your supplement business and tying it into what you're doing on chain with Alpha Dogs, is it that simple? Is it really a way to drive a loyalty referral program? Are there more, I guess, blockchain components that you're bringing into Alpha Dogs, or what can you, how can you speak to the?
I don't know. I guess we hope so. I guess that's what you would hope in that aspect. Obviously, we kind of all have different visions for this space, and when it's so small right now, we're all kind of sharing this fraction of the pie. And so I think mainly it's, in my opinion, there's 8 founders at Alpha Dogs that kind of survived a previous rug and established ourselves as the Alpha Dogs again on Ape Chain. And I think that trying to find ways to just stay relevant in this space now is important. It's harder and harder to do as we stay in these bears, but building for the public and for the masses to come. And I think that's a big part of why we're so bullish on the other side and getting our IP into the other side and being able to not just talk to the 200-300 people that are in there every day now, but hopefully the thousands of people that come with their kids and all this other stuff that, that happens eventually with time. And I do believe it will happen, and excited to hear more from Figge soon about that. So, we as Alpha Dogs were originally in an investor group inside of another project.
Okay.
The founder, David Taylor, who passed, he started this group for us, people that had spent like 15 up towards to 30 grand inside of his project. He wanted to give them those opportunities you're talking about. And whether it's IP right and you're releasing back from them or whatever it may be, that same structure to where you can really corral these people together and have a unified cause and build off of that and get people that are passionate, but yet from all over the world and all parts of different walks of life. And that's the beauty of our community, I think, was once we were kind of in this precarious situation with a founder dying, and it's one of the worst situations you can be in, and obviously you're all grieving, but you want to remain a group, you want to keep those friendships, and that bond to us was the main thing that happened, that after that trauma of trying to make it work with that project after he passed, and when we could kind of see the writing on the wall was going in a different direction than he kind of foresaw, we thought, hey, we can do some of this stuff ourselves. And obviously the other side, and a metaverse was always kind of promised, and royalties and IP rights and all these things that we all wanted. The only way we were going to see them come to fruition was to do it ourselves. So we just kind of had this group of people that knew our strengths and weaknesses, and one person kind of got after the art, and one person, was building a Discord. I was building a website, and, Top Gun started the supplements and actually got David Taylor's profile picture on there, which I will plug because that's pretty cool. It's nice to be able to pay homage to the person that brought you all together in the first place. And that was a big part of it for us. The main part of it, I would say, for us was to keep, a little bit of his legacy alive in our eyes of what we thought he would want us to do and would make him happy. So that's kind of how we went from one community and ended up on Ape Chain. And there's been a lot of stuff that's happened since, but it's all been, I think, driven by the main goal of preserving this community and building on the backs of some things that we originally started in on.
That's awesome, man. Well, salute to you. And I mean, while we've seen, and it doesn't even feel right calling it a community takeover, while we've seen CTOs or communities rally around a brand, a token, an NFT project previously. I don't know as if I can think of another that continued on the legacy that a founder had once started and unfortunately passed too young. And, I just, we talk about, it's about the friends we made along the way. And that really, while it may be, may sound kind of cheesy, it is very real. Like the friends that I've made here are numerous. I can't count on two hands the amount of lifelong friends that I've made here, and very grateful for that. And I think this is, another very valid data point when you have, a community rallying together to keep an IP alive, to push a brand, a project forward that, the founder is, unfortunately was taken from us too soon and no longer able to do that. So salute to you and everyone else coming together around this. Just says a lot about yourself and in the community that cares. What for those that are listening, that might be the first time they're hearing about Alpha Dogs today. I know you talk about the in real life tie-in, you talk about other side. Is there anything that we haven't yet hit on that you really wanted to share with the audience today? Anything that I saw that there looks like there's an upcoming a new mint that Alpha Dogs have allow list or are able to participate in. Anything additional that you wanted to share with everyone today in regards to Alpha Dogs? Like for those listening, like why might they want to be paying attention to the community, join the Discord, pick up an Alpha Dog? What makes, other than the in real life tie-in and the supplement business and obviously Dave's legacy, what else might they want to be paying attention to as it relates to Alpha Dogs?
Yeah, I mean, we can always say it's fun to have people buy Alpha Secondary and stuff, but this started off as a free mint. We weren't, there was a lot of trauma when that situation happened, and we just wanted to reward this existing community. So we actually airdropped all these people that were in the previous community 35 Alpha Dogs, if they had them the 1-to-1 ratio in their wallet before and were part of that group, and we whitelisted all of them. There is no other mint. We're not planning on doing any other mints. It's really not about the money for us. It's really about just preserving that community. And I think, to me, the biggest plug I can give is come join that community. Come build with us. There's room for all of us. We have people spread out all over the globe and all over the US. And I think it's meeting these people and these connections that can help build a community. And we've seen that on Ape Chain, big time. You have a unified group of people that may not be in the same projects yet, or maybe, but they're all pushing for the same cause, I think. And that's kind of what we're doing, at least for right now, right, with Alpha Dogs. And we want people to join us. It's a good story. It's a sad story, but it is our story. It's the only one we got. And I think having fun is a big part of what we like to do, and just kind of build in public, but, in our own way as well. With being a free mint, it's low expectations. So we want to make sure we're over delivering and under promising always. We don't like to come up here and say, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. We'd really just do it and then deliver. We dropped, in the beginning, we did a bunch of free claims, hats and merch, and we made chains for David Taylor, like little Alpha Dog, cute little chains, just things like that would help kind of preserve that. So I would say to those people that may not have known that person and known that community and known who we were before we were Alpha Dogs, that there's room for you in this community as well. And with Unvault, it's about to kind of blow the doors off this whole thing, I believe.
That's what I was going to say is, let's talk about the elephant in the room, is that they're about to unvault. And if people don't understand what that means, first of all, it means that Alpha Dogs and Bad Ted Yacht Club and Heavy Metal and all these communities, they see the future of NFTs. We are establishing new infrastructure where the chain is not the thing, the collection is the thing. So their holders are about to get their Alpha Dogs on 7 different chains, eventually many, many more chains than that. They're about to get the divot, which means it's a licensing deal for people that don't know, but it gives you a piece of the royalties for a certain period of time. if you are holding and allowing them to use it for social media purposes online. In addition to that, one of the founders has talked to me about, oh, can we fund the divot pool with real world earnings, to give bonuses to people, etc. Yes, you can. So there's many reasons to pick up Alpha Dogs right now, especially when it's sitting at 190 ape coin, because I'm not going to tell you where it's going to be, but it's going to be seen by people all over the NFT world once we unvault it. And let me just say something too, for anybody who loves Ape Chain, or because I'm an ape, I love Ape Chain, I love Other Side, I love Figge, Garga, PP Man, the whole bunch. If you're a collection on Ape Chain, that's amazing. When you unvault and you get to all those other chains, it's not like you're leaving Ape Chain behind. What you're doing is you're kind of going out as a little bit of a secret agent, and you're picking up people from other chains. Then you're going, oh, by the way, we have Other Side utility. By the way, we have these Ape Chain utilities. And those people now hold an Ape Chain collection, even though it's on Solana, it's on other chains. They're going to come on back to Ape Chain to see what's going on Other Side and what else you have going on over here. So don't feel like you're turning your back. You are going out and you are testifying to what's going on Ape Chain. I am very, very grateful to Alpha Dogs for being one of our first clients to sign up amongst Heavy Metal, amongst Bad Ted Yacht Club, and others, STK, the project, etc. Very grateful. And one of the reasons I am grateful is their community is so very strong. And I know that sounds like a bullshit thing to say at this point, but they show up, they do things, they basically point their firepower at wherever the team asks them to, or where they suggest, and they get shit done. It's very exciting to be here with an Alpha Dog. You do not have enough Alpha Dogs. On a personal note, before Figge comes in, I want to say my father passed a week ago Friday, and we just had his funeral on Monday. And of course, I was as soon as I posted, I was contacted by the Bored Ape Yacht Club, who said we'd like to send you some flowers. And of course, me being old school, I was like, I'm not giving you my address. No, I'm just kidding. I did, but I'm very grateful to the club for being that thoughtful, for all the kind words. Beyond all the other things I love about Bored Ape Yacht Club, it just shows that they care. So I'm very grateful. But you don't have enough Alpha Dogs, and if you're not unvaulted yet, meaning that you have a collection that you're a part of, that you're owner of, that you had a CTO, hop into my DMs or the DMs of Unvault, and let's start talking, because we're launching soon. Oh, another reason to get Alpha Dogs is that they're going to have first access to our beta collection that we are going to test. And the beta collection is going to be important. It is not just a beta collection. There's a lot more to it in the future of Unvault. And the holders of Alpha Dogs, amongst our other collections, they will be the first to be able to claim them.
Exciting stuff. Aaron, my condolences, sincere condolences. I will double tap on Bored Ape Yacht Club caring, and yeah, sending my thoughts with you. Lost my dad. Well, both dads, one early, another one a couple years ago, and still think about him often. But it is when I do my best, instead of getting down and sad, I attempt to use it as a little bit of inspiration and talk about legacies and carrying on, whether it's a blockchain project or something from your own personal life. Like let me do this. I'll wrap up and attempt to do it on a high note here. I did pin up a post up top from Alpha Dogs as well as Cub King. Go give them both a follow. Unvault, the official Unvault account, is on stage here. Aaron and Ernest host spaces on Tuesdays and Thursdays for deep dives. If you have additional questions, if you want to talk about your project or a project that you're part of, a passionate community about unvaulting and protecting those royalties and going multi-chain, hit up Aaron and Ernest. Check out one of those Unvault spaces. And there, without further ado, is everyone's favorite Chewbacca. I got some compliments the other day about the background picking up a little bit and looking a little better, and nothing I can do can match a 7-foot tall Chewbacca. So I've got work to do still. But in all seriousness, Aaron, you had a really nice note regarding your father. I'm sure he's proud, and my sincere condolences.
Thank you. He held ApeCoin.
Hey,
he was very into Web3. He held ApeCoin. Yep.
Cub King, great to connect. Appreciate you joining us. I did post a Cub King post up top as well. Go give him a follow as well. And appreciate you both. This has been Inside the Vault, brought to you by Unvault. Shout out to Alpha Dogs and Aaron. I do see Figge is out in the Spaces audience. Figge, we'll do a quick coffee break. We'll bring you up on stage here in a minute. If you'd like to join us on video, you're more than welcome. No obligations. That StreamYard link is in your X DMs. But we're going to do this. We'll do a quick coffee break. Don't go anywhere. Give the space some love. Let's get this thing warmed up for Figge. We're going to talk Clubhouse. We're going to talk in real life alpha, and a little bit of other side conversation as well. But we had some big updates. We've actually talked quite a bit about the Bored Ape Yacht Club Monday and Tuesday. Almost really took over the show, and grateful that Figge's taking time out of his busy schedule to join us here today. So let me do a quick break here. We'll be right back with Figge from Yuga talking the Clubhouse, other side, and in real life alpha here on the other side of this break. Little coffee break fail there. One of these days, I'll remember to hit the loop button when I don't make it back in time. All that being said, if you are just joining us here, welcome. This is Coffee with Captain. We do run this back every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. We'll cover trending topics, news of the day, and then very often we're very fortunate to be joined by special guests, subject matter experts, being able to do some deep dives and ask the tough questions, pry some alpha out of those industry leaders. Fortunate today to be joined by the one and only Figge. Figge, GM sir. Before we jump into other side, the Clubhouse and in real life alpha, I have to ask, and I know early for you out there on the West Coast, so you may not have had a chance to see the article or the even the bullet points, but any thoughts on Satoshi? Is Adam back Satoshi? Do you have a take on who Satoshi might be? Curious your thoughts on the one and only Satoshi. Or maybe I shouldn't say the one and only. Now, if you're on my side, there might be a group of individuals that make up Satoshi. But yeah, I don't know did you see the article yet? Any thoughts on maybe the potential validity of that?
It's pretty early. I'm out here in LA. It's at 6 a.m. And I got out of the house because I didn't want to wake anybody up. So I'm going for a walk. It's a little precarious because all my phone, my AirPods, everything is low batteries, but I think I'm going to make it. I think there's going to be enough here to keep it alive. I glanced at some of those articles. I think they said it was like Adam back. I just don't think we're meant to really know the answer here. Like, I think this topic comes up at least once a year at this point, especially if you've been through multiple cycles. You've kind of done the rabbit hole of like, is it Adam Back? Is it Hal Finney? Is it Craig Wright? So I haven't read the article, but like, yeah, I mean, my best guess is that it's probably Hal Finney, because it would explain a lot about why those coins haven't moved. I think, you know, basically his medical condition lines up with the disappearance of Satoshi. And I think there's a lot of evidence that points to him, but it could be a group of people. It could be, I don't know. I think as much as we want to pursue it, this is like as close to a religious experience that we'll have in crypto, where there's just like a huge piece of lore. And it's to the point where, you know, when people come into crypto, they take on their own pseudonyms. So I don't know. I don't like whether it's Adam Back or somebody else. I don't think that we're meant to ever know. And that's part of, you know, having belief in crypto. It's like, it's way less fun if we definitively know. But yeah, what's your take on it, man? Like, are you biting on this one?
I don't know. It's kind of compelling, but I think it is. I think where I net out is I think Finney's likely involved, and I actually think it might, rather than an individual, rather than just being Adam or just being Hal Finney, I think it's plausible that it's a group. That if it is a group of people, Finney and Adam Back and maybe others were likely a part of that group, and maybe someone like Back was responsible for writing the Satoshi blog post. But I agree with you. I don't like, for many reasons. I mean, I think it could negatively, if we know Satoshi is still alive or who it is, there could be concern of that, you know, that Satoshi wallet with 1 million Bitcoin could start to sell off. I also think part of the allure is that we don't know. And I like it that way. You said it's the closest thing to a religious experience we might have in crypto. Yes, except for Codas creating their own religion in other side. I think that is, you know, basically 1A, 1B is who is Satoshi, and Coda's creating new religions in the other side. But interesting time nevertheless. I don't know if we'll ever really know. And I think if it is Adam, if it is anyone that's still living, for, you know, many reasons, they would probably prefer to stay anonymous or continue to deny it, maybe until they're on their deathbed. But all that being said,
I mean, well, like, where were you when you? So I was like, I was thinking about the first time that I heard Bitcoin. I was like working one of my first jobs and first heard of Bitcoin, and trying to like piece that together in my mind as if there was some sort of a clue there. But it's kind of a change topic. Like reading the Mythos stuff yesterday, it's like, dude, are they just going to put like the next version of Mythos or whatever on Bitcoin? Is it just going to crack everything? Like, it feels like the pace that things are changing at throws into question some of the foundations of you know, a lot of the stuff we're doing. But
do you have a how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you regarding quantum computing and the threat to Bitcoin, or really any crypto?
Like, I think not very concerned about it right now, but it's kind of like I wasn't very concerned about a pandemic in 2019 either.
Yep.
Like, you don't really care about these things until like they become very real. It does seem like things are coming at a pace where that stuff is going to matter, but I think there's very smart people within our community that are taking that into account. And as soon as it becomes a priority, like, I think the market will solve for it.
I kind of agree. It's kind of like, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's not something I worry about today. It's something that's outside of my control. I'm not going to go out there and solve, you know, quantum computing and mitigate its threat against Bitcoin and other crypto anyway. So hopefully some smart people get ahead of it, because I think you're right. Like, most people probably aren't going to think about it until it, you know, something happens, and then it's, you know, then the impact could be pretty severe. But yeah, it's not something I lose any sleep over. But at the same time, it's definitely, I feel as if, I guess where I net out is, I used to think, oh, this is something that's like 50 years in the future. And now, like you said, with the Mythos update yesterday and everything that's happening in AI, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 6 months. Like, it's just, things are moving so fast, like, and it's getting exponentially faster with the rate of development, I feel. And I mean, are you seeing that? Forget quantum computing for a minute, but just, we were talking the codas and other side. And last time we had you here, we were talking like the, vibe coding and all the like, are you from on the developer standpoint and all that you all are building, like, are you feeling the same thing? Like the rate, the evolution of technological advancements it's not even monthly. It's like weekly, if not daily, there's something new. And while it's adding tools and resources, how much of a challenge has that been just to, you once you figure something out, then there's something new. Like, how has it, for as much as it's helped with probably efficiencies and be more productive, at the same time, what kind of challenges is it creating just because it is moving so fast?
Yeah, I try to think of the problem as a barbell between like things that are fixed and things that are like super dynamic. So some of the best stuff you could invest in is reusable and it's timeless, like storytelling, right? Like I think that's the stuff that connects all borders. It's able to organize people past your Dunbar number. Like that stuff is just great on the surface to invest in. And then the other part is like, I think I said this last time, I think it's really important that when you're developing a product nowadays, that you do have some plug-in with AI, not to make your whole product about AI, right? Like I don't think that's durable, but you need to have features or components that are supercharged by AI. So when those models jump, your product jumps with it. I think that if you're not taking that into account, or you haven't considered it, or you haven't strategically excluded it for some very good reason, like if you're not considering it, then it's really something that I think can catch you off balance.
Yep.
I mean, I felt a little bit off balance this past weekend with all of the Claude, like, is Anthropic going to let you do it? Are they not going to let you do it? It really exposed to me. Like I have 2 Claude Max account subscriptions, and I burn through a lot of the usage on one, and then there's like 3 days left in the week, and then I switch over to the other. But that's probably costing Anthropic like a ton of money.
Yep.
And then scale that up to like everybody that's doing that, they're probably losing a lot of money on just, people with harnesses and their Max accounts. And, to me, it showed how much I've come to rely on that tool to get leverage just day to day. And when they were futzing with it, I was like, I don't like this, and for me, it's not even, oh, I should switch to ChatGPT, or I should switch to some other frontier model and pay them $200 a month instead. That's a lot of money. Like you can't just be throwing around that size subscription wherever. It really woke me up to like, wait, so where does this go? Because like, I don't think any of these companies are really making money on this stuff with users that are using it as much as I am and my team is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's going to be a moment where they're going to have to get the actual pricing in, or maybe it's like a gym, like, yeah, you could pay the same amount at the gym, and like there's people that never go to the gym and they've just got a subscription and it's really hard to quit. And then there's people who live there. And so maybe it's something like that. But where it took me this weekend is I've actually been, well, it's not even just this weekend. I've had it on the back burner, but I really foregrounded it is like hosting my own models and doing my own inference, playing with like Quen and all these other ones, because I do think if you try to order like a Mac Studio right now, anything other than stock, it's like, yeah, good luck. You'll get it in July.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. Go check on the Apple website. Like it's actually pretty hard to get stuff with like a helpful amount of RAM. It's just all sold out. I tried to get the 512 the other day and it was like, yeah, go get it. We'll ship it to you in August.
Wow.
Like August. And is that problem going to get worse before it gets better? Probably. So anyway, that's kind of like talking around like the immediacy of what this situation is. But for us at other side's like, a multi-year build. It's like one of the things that I think the space is looking at and going like, okay, this is like a really big play. And how do you plan a multi-year roadmap when the underlying technology or the leverage you can get out of it is changing so fast? It has to be part of your strategy. It just has to.
Yeah.
But I don't think it could be everything. Like, I think people bought into storytelling, and that they bought into, the deeds, and the whole premise of that from a rarity perspective is something that you have to honor and respect and build around first, and AI supercharges it.
That's exciting. I mean, when I still hold, I don't know, 6-7 deeds, and my thinking there was, as a non-developer, as a someone who wasn't planning to build myself initially, is like, well, I'm gonna have to hire people to help build these out. And now it's fully shifted. Like, well, that's where I'm gonna really lean into the AI from a coding and development standpoint, is having AI help in the other side, and not just from a world building standpoint, but for interactions and smart NPCs, or we probably need a better name for it than an NPC, because often these AI controlled characters are going to be smarter than most human players, and able to do more than most human players, more intelligent than most human players. And also, just a quick nugget, like a very small sample size, but you're the second person this week that we've had on the show in the last 3 days that has had multiple $200 a month Claude subscriptions running. We had Bunchu Bets from the team over at Billy Bets on talking what they were doing. We had an AI segment on Monday, and yeah, he too was running multiple Claude subscriptions. And to your point, like, while these companies might have a path towards profitability, under the current token utilization, the power users are so, it's like, you talk about barbell, it's like such a different scale how much more power users are using these things than your average person who's just using it like a chatbot today. And I'm like you, like, how is this going to net out? Like, because I'm someone who I've been not opposed, but I've held off on running local instances, local LLMs, because I don't use it that much. Like I have a ChatGPT sub, I have a Claude sub, I use Gemini and Grok, and like all those, like, collectively, every once in a while I run up against my token limits, but I just shift to another one, and it's no big deal. But if I play this thing out, even something is like, you're talking about Mac Studio, my daughter's getting ready to graduate high school soon. I'm looking for, okay, what device do I get her for college? And at first, like, oh, these Mac Neos just launched. That's fine for all she needs today. But then I started thinking, like, is that going to get her 4 years? Like, what is going to happen from a tech standpoint? What hardware is going to be needed to even just run basic stuff? And that's just where my brain, I struggle getting my brain wrapped around, like, how fast things are changing. Like, it could be even a different device form factor altogether in 4 years, let alone does it have enough RAM. But yeah, just wild time. And I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly that the storytelling, like we were saying, like, any brand, any business needs to be in the content business today, needs to lean into that storytelling. That is evergreen. But at the same time, like, whether you're building an AI platform, protocol, or product, even if not building something that's quote unquote AI, you really need to be leaning into it. Otherwise you're getting lapped by others. And it's been exciting to see the rate of change, the constant updates coming out of other side. I keeping it real. I was, a few weeks ago, somewhat critical, or I shared some feedback on wanting to see more updates, more information on updates from the Bored Ape Yacht Club, other than just other side. Because, and I think part of it isn't just, do I have that desire for these updates? I'm really bullish on in real life activity, and really excited about the club and all the friends I've made, and the networking and the NBA brands. I think part of what, as I think through this, even saying it out loud now, part of my, I don't know the right word, angst on wanting to see more updates from the club side of things, part of it is because there's a new other side update almost every day, if not certainly every week. There's something new major coming out. And so, like, I think it makes it seem like the time between Ape Fest and now is even greater than it really is, because on the technical side, because on the other side, it's evolving and updating so fast. I do want to talk a little bit about Clubhouse. I want to talk about this new website, these in real life activations that have just, I don't know if it was a plan, if it just, it was happenstance that you had a meetup that went really well and doubled down on it. I pinned up top a post from Baron earlier, just about everything that's like in the next 2 weeks from Los Angeles, upstate New York, San Diego, Las Vegas, London, Tampa, San Francisco, Hong Kong, Philippines, Canadian apes, Swiss apes, German apes, cigar apes. Like, what is there? Is this foreshadowing in this kind of setting up, the Clubhouse launch? I guess before we talk more specific other side and how fast things are changing there, can you speak to this seeming, and this isn't the first time Bored Ape Yacht Club has done in real life stuff. I'll flash the website and all the activations. We showed that the other day as well. But is this what can you speak to these in real life activations that we've seen here in the month of April? Is this like an ongoing strategy? Is this a moment in time? Is this leading up to another specific event or activation? I saw some talk about potentially planning something for Consensus, which is in Miami in about a month. Tell us about in real life and what why the added focus recently regarding these in real life activations.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to your feedback on the show. I was listening to the show. I thought it was fair from the perspective of most holders just wondering what's going on. But I also think the other part that didn't quite make it out there is like, look, we do meet me at the Clubhouse every week, and we do it in Other Side. And I heard you saying like, well, I haven't been to Other Side for a while, and it's like, well, great. We also like transmitted on Twitter through Spaces. And so I think you were saying like, well, I have something at that time. It's like, well, great. We record it so you can listen to the recording, and you hadn't listened to the recording. And I think like this is not something on you. I think this is just like the state of things with a lot of people, like people living busy lives. It's not like these updates aren't actually happening. It's that the methods that we're using to push them out, they sometimes need to be overemphasized. And I think all that you're seeing is really like a return to us making sure that the message is getting out there. Because as a club, you should be doing club things. You should be meeting with people in real life. Like, I think an in real life event done well is better than a year of managing people on Discord.
I would agree. I'm biased, but I would absolutely agree.
Yeah. And also like when you get to know the people behind the PFP, it's a lot more real. That's kind of why you are a part of this thing to begin with. It's a part of what I thought was the best part of the club, back in the old days. And I really do think like, as much as we develop products and look at AI and we, see how it can leverage us, and as much as we want to know where things are going to go next, like really the strongest part of almost any organization like this is the community. I used to work in concerts, and you'd build a whole concert and you could actually watch it back. Like you could play it back off this thing called time code. And you'd usually do it in an empty rehearsal space, and you could have 800 to 2,000 fixtures. Like you could have like millions of dollars in tech playing on stage, and it feels kind of sterile until you actually get an audience in the room, and the audience is actually like the best component of it. And I think that that's true no matter how much tech you have on stage. I think it's true no matter what your product is. Like being able to have in real life connections, or, and connection is kind of a loose word. It's just like a club should do club things, right? And hanging out is one of them. Doing meetups is one of them. Organizing around geography, I think, is really critical. Like you see a lot of organizations organize around geography because it's like the way that you could have things get the most sticky. You can have people in your neighborhood that are able to like push things forward, check in on you. They're people that you can more likely count on than somebody that you met at Ape Fest once who is on the other side of the world. Now, I certainly hang out with a lot of people that I met at Ape Fest, even if they live super far away. Sometimes I see them more often than the people who live close to me. But I just don't think that that's like the most natural or best use of like your time and money. Like I think it makes sense to, at the very least, be connected with the people in your area and set up a context for that to happen. So that's what like a lot of the meetup stuff is. That's kind of like just an underlying thing that's going on in the in real life pillar of Bored Ape Yacht Club. So you're seeing a concerted effort because that work is being done, but it's just not being pushed out as far as it needed to. And so we just made an adjustment based off of the feedback we're hearing.
Awesome. No, greatly appreciate it. And certainly not taking any credit for any of that. But I do greatly appreciate you listening in and being open and receptive to feedback, having those conversations in the DMs. Aaron said it earlier, like there's people may love or dislike or agree or disagree with things that Yuga and Board Ape Yacht Club is doing. But I think one thing, it would be hard pressed to say you don't care. And a lot of times you'll, not just in crypto and Web3, but any organization for that matter, may do customer surveys or take feedback and say they want feedback, and they might reply or comment and say thanks for the review or thanks for the feedback, and then it kind of falls on deaf ears. And it's certainly not here. I appreciate not only hearing the feedback, but then if this was a kind of a response to that, like greatly appreciate it. And while I am biased towards the in real life connections, and I think the reason I am is just like you said, like I've made a lot of great friends and incredible relationships through the club, but almost all those have grown, like not just more, but the depth of those relationships have grown because of the chance to meet individuals in person, to shake hands, to break bread together, to share an actual physical cup of coffee. I don't know how to best describe it, but it absolutely has an impact. And I think the other thing it does too is because I said it's not just on Yuga. While Yuga is supporting this and fanning the flames, it drives home how many great community members there are, how many that are not just community members, but leaders in the community. I'll shout out Ape Whale here local to my area for spearheading a paintball match or meetup here in, not this weekend, but the following weekend in the Tampa area. If you're in Tampa area, go hit up Ape Whale, join us for paintball on the 18th. My dates might be wrong, but 16th, maybe. It's 2 Saturdays from now. And that's been a big takeaway for me, whether it's Ape Fest or NFT Paris, or, I said I'd share the activations. Like it really also reminds people, active members, and those that aren't in the club, everything that Yuga has done, everything that the Bored Ape Yacht Club is and has done. Like the activations tab on the new website, it was kind of an aha moment for me. While I remember all these events, all these activations, I participated in many of them. When you see it all together like this, like, wow, they really have shipped pretty nonstop for the last several years. I guess it'll mark 5 years here the end of this month. I think minting started on April 20th is when the first few started the mint. Speaking of first few started the mint, I believe Wave would have been one of the first mints, number 4. Gordon was number 0, and then the 4 founders were token number 0, 1, 2, 3. Wave still holding his original first mint. But I think it was the 20th of April they started minting, and then ultimately the famous mint out the night of April 30th into the morning of May 1st. But while 5 years may seem like a long time, it really is like a blink for, you talk about startup businesses, and especially when you talk about a multi-year journey like Otherside. But yeah, I appreciate the listening. I appreciate you being receptive to the feedback. I appreciate the in real life events to give us all an opportunity to enjoy the club benefits that many of us do love of getting together and networking in person. And I appreciate this update. Now, while the in real life activations, these in real life meetups might have been in response to some community feedback, I have to imagine that the new website wasn't just pulled together in the last couple of weeks. Really, and we've gotten a lot of great compliments, not just from club members, but some web experts, some web designers outside of the club raving about the new website. It's clean. It drives home key points. The member directory, I'm a big fan of. Shout out to tying in these activations. I think this is not only a great reminder for club members, but those who aren't in the club. What can you share about the website itself? How is this its final state? Is there more coming? Is there maybe something we've missed that you've got the shop, you've got activations, talk at the Clubhouse, and then that member directory? Might there be more, I don't know, features or will that member directory evolve? Big fan of the new site. So props on to yourself and the team for pulling this off. But even the domain, like BAYC.com, I don't think I've seen official communication from Yuga yet on that. How is that a recent purchase? When did you acquire BAYC.com?
Well, yeah. So there's a couple things I want to touch on there. I just want to clarify too, like the move to do meetups in real life is not like a suit. Like it is good to get your input and the community's input, but I think the way it's framed right now could be seen as like a reactive thing. When I don't think reactive stuff is durable. Like it has to come from the brand internally for it to make sense. So this is something that we have been thinking about, have been planning. We're just actioning it. It's a coincidence that's coming out now. Like I do think in a world where we tout decentralization, not your keys, not your coins, like we still seem to want like all of the activations to be centralized, all of the meetups to be centralized. And it's going to take a lot of effort to instill a culture of like, this is a decentralized thing. This is like, if you own the ape, you own the IP, you can do whatever you want with it. You're in an area, you can basically roll out and like throw any event you want and other apes are going to show up. Yeah, the BAYC.com website is, it's of course been in the works for a while, but the old website was not that flexible. It was a really cool take on like the Clubhouse from like a theatrical. I don't know if you remember the old website even, but like,
yeah, fancy, fancy. It looked great, but it was more. I do. It was more like theatrical than it was
right
useful or usable.
It's fun, and then you give it to a partner that wants to do a partnership with you, and they see it. So for people who don't know, it was basically like a really. It was almost like one of these old LucasArts games. Like you walk up to the clubhouse, you open the doors, you're inside the clubhouse. You can click on things, and those are the links, right? Like it's a picture of the inside of the Bored Ape Yacht Club clubhouse. And if you're giving that to a partner, a new brand, like somebody that you want to collab with, if you're giving that to somebody who wants to join the club, it's kind of like a really unclear way to get familiar. But then on the other hand, it's not like really our style to be like, hey, here's just like a wall of stats and bullet point reasons why you should like want to join this club. And so this website is kind of like, this is the positioning to show you like, this is the vibe and the feel of the club. These are some of the past activations you can explore on your own time. But there's not even really like, there's not an about me page, for instance. And that's like deliberate. When you look at all the brands that like are super influential in culture and like the ones that we look after in terms of inspiration, they don't over explain themselves. They explain themselves by showing you the work they've done. And I think those details are part of the perspective that we bring that nobody else has. And yeah, to your point, like with a site like this, where it's less theatrical, it's easier to add features. We have so many feature requests coming in, and those are things that the team can just like build on and add more functionality over time. And so like there's more of a reason to keep engaging with the site. And I think that that's really important.
I agree. Well done. Big fan. And since we're here, I actually clicked through the bathroom wall for the first time. I've got 100 bonus points for in the chat. If anyone can guess what my contribution to this middle image was, I've got 100 bonus points. I'll leave it up for a little bit. Yeah, if you're looking at the screen, guess what I contributed to the bathroom wall from this middle image here. But back to more important stuff. I did pin up top the link of those upcoming in real life events. I know Cam put out something yesterday. How many apes are going to Consensus in Miami? Working on a little something. We've got, I don't know if there's going to be any presence at Bitcoin Vegas later this month, but we're heading into conference season. The Clubhouse. I don't know if you. I'm gonna attempt to pry a little bit of alpha out of you this morning, Figge, or maybe confirm or deny some speculation that others have thought might be might be a thing. One, starting with the Clubhouse in particular, super excited for the Clubhouse. Can't wait. I don't live in Miami, but I fully intend to, if not a monthly visit, at least once a quarter, but probably every month, head down. Looking forward to events and meetups there. One of the bits of speculation was on the matchbook here. It says MMXXVI, and if my Roman numeral understanding is correctly, I think that's 2026. So could we deduce from that that not only is it coming soon and it's going to be in Wynwood, that coming soon would be some point in 2026?
I think we're going to speak on the Clubhouse very soon, but I think we've said as much as we should for right now, because when we come out, we want to come out really correct. So I'm just going to hold back more clarifying comments about this, but we have put out some information just in the site. Very minimalist. You're pointing out some of the stuff, but I think it's better to wait for the right moment to actually like really flesh that out proper.
Very fair. And I greatly appreciate the updates. And while I think we've moved on like from the announcements to the announcements, I enjoy the like to be able to speculate on fun things, right? It's not about, oh, let's speculate and send the floor, 10x overnight. But part of the fun, whether it's what is Bored Ape Yacht Club doing next, or what's going to happen next week on the pit, like part of the fun in entertainment, whether it's a TV show or a community, is like, what's next? And I don't want, nor do I need all the answers right now. But like the directional, hey, the Clubhouse is coming. It was announced at Ape Fest. Sharing again. I think this is the first time we've seen it's going to be in Wynwood. There was some speculation on that, but it is coming soon. It's coming to Wynwood, and the renderings are exciting. So I won't pry on dates or anything more specific to the Clubhouse, but really excited. And I think as we think about the Clubhouse, as we think about in real life activations, whether it's a meetup for paintball this weekend or next weekend, or some event at the Clubhouse, are you able to speak to like what is the vision for how does the other side tie into some of these in real life activations? Or maybe to ask a second or follow-up question there is, how might someone in, I don't know, Singapore or London, why should they care about the Clubhouse?
Yeah, a couple things to unpack there. First, the pit, such a good show.
So good.
Can't wait for it tonight.
Today I learned that Mel is Bryan Cranston's daughter. I did not know that until this morning. Someone shared with me.
Oh yeah. No, totally. I was actually watching old ER episodes after the pit, and it was just great to see him young. It's like as a resident. If you're not watching the pit, go watch the pit.
Good show. I agree.
Yeah. So, I think one of the tough things about building out something with like actual construction and real world dependencies is that, and I've just seen this throughout Web3. It's like you want some communication. You want somebody to say, okay, tell me what's going on. Show me the renders. Like even these renders from Ape Fest, it's like, show me exactly what it's going to be. And we're going to like go over. And then once you hit reality on certain things, like if you need a little bit of latitude to change something, you're like, okay, well, here's the reason we need to nudge this in one way or the other way. And then you come out with another update, people will be like, whoa, you changed your plan. How come things are different from the last thing you told me? And so like, I just think that in the age where like a lot of things were said by a lot of different people and we all lived through 2021 and all the stuff that was promised across any project in that era. Like, I think we have taken a more like stoic approach on some of this stuff, where the reality is like, if you're doing construction, if you're working on projects with like really long arcs, that you don't want to say stuff too often that might have to change, because like we've just gotten not the best reaction to that. And I see that from like as an end user as well. Like I thought it was like pretty funny how like Vitalik, for instance, was just like, guess what? I think the main goal is like we're gonna scale the L1 for Ethereum, and like we're gonna focus like less on L2s for the roadmap. And it's like, I don't think anybody reacted properly to that. Like that's Vitalik seeing the play on the field that he thinks is right, but like as the founder of Ethereum, like he's the one who laid out that roadmap, right?
Yep.
But I don't know if you remember in January, but like that's what he like changed basically some major principles of like where he thinks Ethereum needs to go. And like I think there was kind of an underreaction to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. Like when you see things changing on the field, you have to nudge and react. So like part of not giving like a high cadence of updates is just like, if you've been in construction, if you've been in one of these projects before, things change. And normally it doesn't really matter because it's just part of the process, but it is something that could be confusing and thrashy. And people are like, well, I don't understand why this is happening or that's happening, like if they've never done it before. So that's just like some context on like why there's intermittent gaps in some of the longer lead times. And I'll say that's the same thing too about other side. Like you go in with a plan, with, the obelisk, for instance, and as things evolve, like things are going to change a little bit. And rather than, you want to talk when things are right. You actually just want to like ship just as often as possible. It's a balance though, because I do know that it's exactly what you just said. Like people want to know what direction they're going in. Like what are you guys building towards? Are you building towards something? I think maybe part of that is a reaction. Like this is a guess. Part of that is a reaction to like in the past when projects have gone silent, maybe they weren't working on anything.
Yep.
Like we've seen a lot of these projects just go silent and like kind of not go anywhere. But there's a lot of people working at Yuga. We're shipping things every 2 weeks on other side. The amount of stuff that's shipping in April alone is almost daily across other side and Bored Ape Yacht Club. And then all of that is also being supercharged by like, these meetups are, like you just said, Cam is pushing for these meetups in various places. They're being supercharged by ApeCo. So a lot is actually happening if people are going to plug in. But I think we need to just realize that we have learned lessons about like the cadence and the velocity and like of communication, and that on some of these bigger builds, it actually might be more of service to be more quiet about it until things are completely ready to show, because we don't want to expose people to like, okay, well, this is the plan and that's the plan. No, that's not going to work. We've got to change it. This thing. So there's just like a lot of things that change when it comes to construction and in real life building,
Yep. Totally makes sense. And I think, just the website itself. Now, I'm not saying that, I think there's a lot of factors that's led to the recent momentum and the incremental volume and, the floor price is up 25% in the last week. I'm not saying it's just because of this website, just because of the Clubhouse confirmation. But I do think, it's the first time I can remember in a while that we saw a crypto native project have an announcement and the floor went up, not down. I also think that had you said, oh, we're going to launch a new website next month, it probably hits a little different. I think just shipping the thing when it was ready and sharing, yes. I think 100%. I think it hits so much better. So yeah. Well done. Thank you for that.
The announcement of an announcement, like it really ruins the expectations around it. Like if I told you, hey, we're working on a new website, people, oh, why are you working on a website?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with the current website? Is the website going to be any good? Maybe I can make a better website. Like if people just start talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just better to ship this thing. And it is true. Like I think the reaction and the desirability of the club is always been there. You Google NFT and Bored Ape Yacht Club image shows up, right? Like it is a canonical collection from that era. And there's a lot of desirability and people want to get in. But I do think they're looking for signals. And I think that's very fair because you can't be quiet for too long And I think that is something, you know, a year ago when I jumped into Other Side last February, really. And I think Other Side had issues like that where it wasn't, everybody was working so hard, but it wasn't rolling out in a way that like met the cadence expectations of Web3 audience. And it took a long time for it to get kind of upright. And now Other Side is just kind of like steam engine that just keeps going. And it's putting out new content. Like there's a ton of new stuff that we haven't even talked about for the rest of April. And in the past few weeks, I've been really deep on Bored Ape Yacht Club stuff too, because I think it needs like the same kind of adjustment. And the team is all aware, right? Like the team is made up of people from the community. So like they know what they want to ship. And part of it is just like making sure that it can all land at the right time. And we have some plans lined up here. I don't want to get too specific about it, but we should be able to roll out some ideas in the next week. And I think it gets to your point of like, okay, what is it that people around the world can participate in? Is it all just like North America centric? Or like, what is even the perspective of Other Side? Are we all just meeting online? Like we just had our last time I came on the show, we had our first event in London. And I think there should be more in real life events for Other Side too. I think whenever Other Side can cross over to in real life, that's when it becomes the most relevant. You know, this Artemis thing just happened going around the moon. We have like a moon event that is happening in Other Side. Like you could go visit the moon. There's all these events happening around it. Or there's like just normal seasonal stuff. Like Easter just happened this past week. We had an Easter egg hunt in Other Side, and we actually had the highest number since launch just with this activation. So whenever we can be in concert, and this is kind of like the thesis. I said this yesterday at Renderpool for Tropical Virtual, like whenever you can take something that is traditionally slow, like, you know, digital experience development, game development, traditionally very slow lead times. And if you can accelerate that to be in concert with like the conversation that's happening that day, like one of my favorite things is like a creator in our community. He took like Nicolas Maduro and made an avatar out of him and put him in Other Side the day that they like kidnapped Maduro, right? And it's like that is something unique to the Other Side platform, where you can do something mimetic. You can key off of it's almost like a Bull Leonidas drawing or a Beeple art piece, where like they're commenting on that day. And I think that's one of the things that we're trying to accelerate in Other Side is like, how can you make sure that the content you're shipping doesn't have to be so preloaded, but like you could get it out the door and be in concert with a conversation, like with the real world conversation in a matter of like, say, hours, right? Like that's where it can start to really differentiate from some of these like platforms that all have longer lead times when they want to ship content.
Yeah, you earlier mentioned like storytelling and this world building and Other Side. It's kind of hitting me right now as you're talking, but like this is one of the few platforms where they're converging. You know, it's not only are the in real life meetups decentralized and often led by the community. Same thing with the storytelling inside of Other Side. It's you know, the tools are now there to where you don't have to sit back and wait for the Bored Ape Yacht Club to drop the, you know, something funny about the meme of the day in the Other Side, whether it's director creative or in any one of the other active community members. They can do that almost in real time. And as I think forward about where this might go and, you know, how does Other Side differentiate itself from, you know, the Roblox and Fortnites of the world? Well, while others can develop in those platforms, I don't think it near the clip or the speed in real time storytelling that is capable in Other Side today. Forget future state and what might be, you know, on the come, but right now this is a very real possibility. And I got to imagine you view that as a pretty nice differentiator from, you know, the Roblox of the world. No?
Yeah, I think the speed to publishing is going to be really important. I think one of the things that we've invested a lot of time in is making sure like the environmental assets are like super high quality, that they've been art directed so you feel like it's of a world. And then, you've seen a lot of like one of the biggest things that's happened or the UGC story about the other side. There's like a couple different verticals. There's MML, which is like vibe coding. There's the ODK, which is like you can actually build worlds. But I think the thing that's gotten the most traction is actually avatars. We have over 500,000 avatars in other side. We have over 200 communities. And like that's just every week, a couple more communities come online, and we've just been doing that for a long time now. And so but part of that is like to model out traditional avatars. It's a lot of work. We have some killer people in the community, like Rita, for instance, like who just crushes it out with his team. But I also think that there's room for this idea to grow with, with like these 3D models, like Hunyon and stuff like that. Like you're going to be able to basically create these assets from a sentence and put them in the world of other side. And unlike other platforms, like that's not going to be like super, like I think other platforms will have that, but those other platforms won't have the fidelity in the background assets that we have. When you look at a lot of stuff on other side, you can see there's a lot of effort that's been put into the environment. So you can kind of.
Ooh, starting to lose you a little bit.
Hey.
Got you back. You're good.
You got me?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Like I said at the beginning of this thing, my AirPods are dying, phone is dying, but we continue. I think the speed to that is really important, but I also think like, people, including myself who collected other deeds, like we're all waiting for other side resource game, the updates. Like, I don't think there's a day that goes by without somebody pinging me on like what this artifact does or what that artifact does, like those are all still in our mind. But I do think like one of the powers that's going to really help us get out there is the speed to being in conversation with in real life events.
Exciting to hear. And that doesn't mean you have to go to these in real life events to provide some feedback or join these conversations. To Figge's point, at the Clubhouse, it is live in the other side every Thursday. Tomorrow's is pinned up top. But if you can't make the live session, the recordings are available. You can stay connected and in the know and enjoying those conversations, whether you're at an in real life meetup or jumping in the other side. You kind of blew my mind when you said 500,000. Did I catch right? 500,000 different avatars.
Yeah, that's right.
That's mind blowing. Just mind blowing. I mean, I knew it was a lot, but I had no idea it was that large. I had to do a quick search because I was curious. Fortnite, there's about 2,800 different avatars in Fortnite. So you talk about just how the power of a decentralized community and decentralized storytelling. And while it's a massive world, you're talking 100,000 deeds, the speed at which this can be developed when you think about hundreds, if not thousands of passionate, active community members building combined with what AI has unlocked. Like I don't think we've ever experienced anything like this previously. I don't think any of these traditional games, while yes, you can create in Roblox, I just think it's very different. And it's not just like Roblox for adults. I think it's going to turn the heads of, the traditional gaming studios. I see Will from Amazon out there, and whether you're talking big brands or independent creators, independent game devs, just very exciting opportunity. I mean, already exists today, but to think about how early it still is, is it fair to say other side's still in like beta?
Yeah, I think other side is still being developed. Look, we acquired a company in December, and they fully came on board in February, and that made other side completely vertically integrated. So I think that we can't call other side like, okay, we're fully going at stride until the other side resource game is on. So I don't know. The word beta comes out with like a lot of it. I would say like it is released, but we're continuously building, new features and new experiences on it. I don't want to hide behind any label. It's just like I really do see our destination as getting other D's, the other side resource game online, but like also the other barbell is like making sure that UGC has a place to thrive. Yeah, like you can tell by the amount of asymmetry between 2,800 avatars in Fortnite and 500,000 avatars on other side. That like, if you just extrapolate that, what does it mean if you have like many, many more avatars? And like, we use words like, oh, it's going to be like, the North Star is competing with UGC that you see on like Roblox, but we're really going to have to find our own way. And the way that will manifest on a platform that's like, just kind of like fundamentally different in approach, it'll probably be different. It will hopefully be in a way that like is emergent and nobody's ever seen before. And especially since we're like embracing new technologies as we go, we can kind of capture something that the world hasn't seen before. And I think that there's a lot of collectors and holders that do see that. I think there are a lot of people that want to know more about what they're going to be able to do on their deed. But I also think that there are a lot of people who have reached out that are very excited. You're seeing very big collectors take big positions in this vision over the last 6 months. And I think we will see something that rhymes with the existing platforms, but like those platforms, they already kind of have a huge product market fit and they can't futz with it too much. So I don't think that they're going to be as nimble to be able to pursue adopting new features and technologies in the way that we will. I think they've already kind of got their core system figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with us, it's blue sky. Like we can see maybe it's built around, the avatars, maybe it's built around other metrics, which I won't get into here, that are really popping off. And I think that there's an opportunity to do something cool and emergent. Yeah. So the main key is like just keep shipping, like let's get an update every 2 weeks, every week. And by just shipping a lot, you can cover a lot of ground.
You get me excited for the resource game. One question on that. Again, if there's anything you don't want to answer or can't answer yet, and I fully respect sharing it when the time is right. We don't want to just the announcements are beyond played out and old at this point. My curiosity is the resource game. I assume that'll be shipped from Yuga, from the corporate standpoint. Do you then envision like will the independent creators will they be able to bring those resources into their independent games or their independent experiences, or is that going to be more in a controlled, confined environment from the quote unquote resource game?
Well, I think this is where it's going to fall in the same bucket as the Clubhouse, where we don't want to say anything until it's like definitive and through an official channel, because, there's just a lot of people who have bought into the deeds, and you want to make sure that it's not something that's revealed kind of glibly. Like I want to make sure that stuff rolls out once it's ready to roll out.
Totally makes sense. The key is make sure when you're building the resource game that Abyssia, ABYSSIA, is the most important resource.
Are good.
Yep. Yeah. And then the next one would be Omni. Omni is currently the floors on that's 50 ETH. So I don't want to sell any of my deeds, but I would accept 50 ETH if someone wants to. If someone really needs an Omni, only 61 of those in the collection. I kid, but truly excited about this. Not just the resource game, and the other side as a whole. It is really impressive where we're at already, and to think it's like, I don't know, top of the first inning as far as where other side's going. Is that a fair analogy?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're continuing to develop now that the platform's online. Like I think there's kind of a time when we did first trip, and then there was second trip, and I remember doing first trip before even I was at Yuga, and just that silence between things and wondering what's going on. That's what we try to avoid now, and we can, because like you can go to otherside.xyz any time of the day. If anybody in your audience hasn't been there yet, go to otherside.xyz. You don't need an NFT to experience it. NFTs will enhance and like show your community on Other Side, but you can go in there with just an email address and jump in, play Other Side. You don't even need that great of a computer. You could stream it in your browser if you want and just check it out, because that's one of the things that I think over time you're going to see bi-weekly builds that are going to like stack on top of each other. And already, since Other Side wasn't even online until like last June, I believe. So a year ago it was just not on, and now it's been on for months. So you're going to continue to see if that's how much ground we've covered in the last like 9 months. And it's only been like fully live since after ApeFest, since November. You can extrapolate that forward to how much more we're going to develop it, in the future.
And I would say, just to add to that, not only how much you all are going to develop it, but I think that rate of development could theoretically grow exponentially when you go from you all developing it to 100 core community members, to 1,000 core community members, to 10,000 core. Like at that point, it's like it's every day there theoretically is a brand new exciting update that probably the majority become community developed, right? It becomes, those that are using the SDK are the ones getting in there and shipping new things almost like on an ongoing basis. Not too dissimilar to what we see from Roblox today. This is just, I think, a much more exciting world. And I shouldn't say Roblox for adults, but it's already today, it's a fun, exciting environment. And to think it is limited in the sense of where it's heading, it's really that your imagination is the limit, like what you can think of. And where it used to be, oh yeah, you can think of it, you're going to need a huge budget or a talented team of devs. Not so much anymore. Like there's so many tools and resources from with the help of AI to help build this stuff at a rapid clip. Figge, I know you're working on some dead batteries. We've kept you a little long. Do you have a few minutes to well, we will get, if there's anything else we haven't asked you yet, but do you have a few minutes if there's any questions from the audience? Do you have a heart out here? Do we need to get you?
Yeah. I'll probably take a couple questions, and then my phone will die in a second, so I want to hop off before that happens. But if it dies, you know what happens.
Fair. I will say my favorite picture to come out of NASA this week wasn't from NASA itself, but this made my day. The moon with the ape skull embedded into it. Speaking of AI, well done. Got a kick out of that. And I think I already saw someone
Shout out to the Bored Ape Yacht Club team. Yeah, they've been pushing across all socials with Twitter daily posts and Instagram daily posts. I think that's part of their strategy to roll out. So I love that piece too.
I love it.
Thanks for the shout out.
I love it. If you do have questions for Figge, drop those in the chat. We've got him for a few more minutes here. You're welcome. I saw Poppy was up on stage, but he had to drop. And also, Dobbins, you guessed it right. My contribution to that bathroom wall was Zed there in the bottom right corner, the throwback. I know. So part of the new website, it was the Clubhouse tees, the Bored Ape Yacht Club shop. Is there one thing we haven't talked about for a while? And I'm of the thinking that like the collaborations, the brand collaborations and merch drops outside of the always on merch store or apparel store would come around ApeFest. Is there anything? Is that just like, hey, we're not ready to share anything, wait until ApeFest or Clubhouse, or I guess let me word it another way, our collaborations with whether it be BAYC or Complex Con, is that still part of the roadmap, the plans? Is that one of the pillars in 2026, working with these large known apparel brands or otherwise?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think you saw, well, if you just seen the activations, we've got a whole history of it, so there hasn't been an abrupt change of that strategy. I think we actually clarified and doubled down on it at Complex Con last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the J-Tips hoodie is one of my favorite Bored Ape hoodies. I'm wearing the John Geiger shoes right now. This is stuff that, there are people that work in, like, the complex world is basically full of collectors. And so we want to cross-pollinate into that world as much as possible. And part of that is getting the right collaborations. Now, some of them you may be more familiar with than others. Like, certainly getting stuff with big brands is like, that's high signal. But I also think that there's like artists who people are maybe less familiar with, but they're rising stars, or they're just like super not even appreciated, but like they're inspo for all the other artists that are doing whether it's apparel or footwear or anything else. Like, I think we have our eye on who are people that we can collab with and roll things out that can be part of like the theme that we have going forward. So yeah, the certainly partnerships have always been part of our DNA, and that's not going to stop. We're going to continue doing that.
It's exciting. Again, would respect no comment or can't speak to it now. One of the things I'd shared is just purely speculation earlier this week was I could see when the Clubhouse goes live being that almost a launch pad for some of these collaborations, a pop-up shop, if you will, once the physical brick and mortar location is live. Whether it be something at the Clubhouse or you mentioned Complex Con, do we think we'll be running back Complex Con this year? Still too early to tell.
I think that stuff is more exciting. Not to comment on any one of those things, but like I don't want to get into announcement territory.
Got it.
You know,
fair. Yep, very fair. What about, back to other side again? The Clubhouse at the Clubhouse meetings tomorrow. Is there anything whether that's just been rolled out or not an announcement, but what for those who haven't been into the other side recently? What should they look at? What should they do if they jump into Clubhouse for the first time into other side for the first time in 6 months? What's the, hey, go check these things out, go do this? What is a kind of like what's a beginner's guide to the other side?
There's a couple things that I could point you guys to. So when you go into other side and you experience the first kind of like 15 minutes of it, you can go in anytime and it's accessible 24/7. But if you really want to like make community and meet other people, there are certain events that happen. So one of the biggest events is Other Games, and that happens every Saturday. I think it's around 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern. People start loading in. That's about 12 p.m. my time, Pacific. So that hits a lot of different time zones. Other Games there's a couple hundred people that are a part of that every Saturday. If you're new to the Bored Ape Yacht Club, on Wednesday nights, Welcome Apes does an orientation at the Clubhouse, so you can get to meet other apes there. I'm not going to be able to like cover every single event, but like even guys like Poppy, who was just on, he's doing Quirky's events, and one of the Other Games guys, Machiavelli, he does an event on Tuesday nights. That's the Chaos Trials. So there's basically a calendar. And you can dive in and actually see all of the events. If you are subscribed to the Ape Chain Twitter, they've put out a calendar of like, these are all the things that are happening on the other side. I'm happy to like retweet that after this spaces, just so that everybody has their eyes on that calendar. I think Spend is one of the people who puts that together at ApeCo. Along with the rest of the team there. And there's something happening almost all the time in other side, but you really want to go and experience it with one of these like major activations, because like those weekly activations where a couple hundred people join, that's where you really start to feel the magic of what this place is going to be.
I love it. I did pin up top the that calendar from the Ape Chain Hub team, as well as perfect timing. It's a Wednesday, so we have a Welcome Apes meetup tonight. That's also pinned up top. And then you mentioned Other Games. They've got that they did a Chaos Trials, was called Echoes of the Moon last night. Shout out to Machiavelli and Dort and Laldasal and Marav and everyone that's spearheading Welcome Apes. They also, Welcome Apes really just recently introduced their new website and a welcome package for new members. Just some really, I'm a little biased, but I think Welcome Apes is arguably, one of the best community-led initiatives in all of crypto. Just really impressive how a group of people have come together to give a world-class welcoming to any new members to the club. If you just picked up an ape, or even if you're considering getting an ape, or you're Bored Ape Yacht Club curious, tune into a Welcome Apes. I think you'll get a good idea of the people. You'll get a good direction of what to do next. If you're looking for a local or regional club, they can help you with all that. Just some really cool things coming from the community. And I also think earlier I mentioned like where this heads with other side, like between Other Games and Welcome Apes, and just a glimpse into the future, what's being built here. When you think about it, it's not all on Yuga. It's not all on the other side proper to build out. You've built a sandbox, and it's up to us to go what kind of sandcastles we want in there, what experiences do we want to see built, and really greatly respect and appreciate those that have taken the initiative in building cool activations, and both in person and in the other side. Figge, anything else? Oh, we did get a question here from Mel in the chat. Are you able to speak to specific to the clubhouse, whether it's going to be a new building or is an existing location that that Yuga's taken over and will be remodeling and building out the clubhouse an existing build, or is that also too much info at this time?
I think we'll have info on this soon, so I'm just not going to comment on that yet. But it is going to be exciting. So looking forward to sharing that with everybody. Very
excited myself. If you haven't yet checked out the new website, BAYC.com, and you can type in the full BoardApeYachtClub.com to check out those activations I was flashing on the stage earlier, get those clubhouse renderings. I believe you do have to be a member. You have to log in to see the actual member directory, but a big fan of that and ability to help connect with others. I know you tune into the show from time to time. I also know it's super early, so you may not have heard this the other day, but I'll share this and I'll kick it back to you for any comments on this specifically or anything else that you haven't shared yet that you were hoping to talk about today. But we was just looking at clubs and membership clubs. And as we know, like an ape and a mutant both, it grants you lifetime access to the club. While the clubhouse, my understanding, it will be open to the public, but you'll have special gated areas and VIP areas for members alone, like just Miami clubs, social clubs, not even talking country clubs. We'll take out Indian Creek, which is really exclusive to the billionaires of the world. Most of these others, you're talking an initiation upfront fee of anywhere from $5 to $250,000, and annual dues anywhere from, on the low end, $1,500 a year, but most of them are like $4,000 or $5,000, $18,000, $15,000, $10,000 a year for these sort of social clubs. As a very biased individual, I think the clubhouse could become one of the, if not the most bang for your buck for a social club type experience. And some others have asked, like, the questions earlier this week is like, how is it going to be profitable? How is it going to be sustainable? And maybe again, too early, and fully respect if it is, but are you able to speak to like the business model itself? I assume like there'll be food or drinks that both members and public would pay for. But would it be like anything like around, and I'm trying to pry, I am kind of trying to pry, but I know we'll get more details coming soon, but are you able to speak to the business model of the clubhouse, what that might even look like at the highest level?
We'll probably have conversations in the future about it, but yeah, it's something that we're definitely across. I mean, I think that social clubs as a model has been something that's been tested at a lot of different sizes. But I also, we're at the end of the day, like at a core, a tech company. So we have to like rely on where our core competencies are. And we have to make sure that like we're activating where it's going to have the most impact. So, I think that the clubhouse is part of the in real life pillar. That's really important as part of Board Ape Yacht Club. But I think to answer your questions, we'll probably have to like reconvene on another day and really like have a different chat about it.
Totally get it. And Mel says, no worries. We'll be looking out for those announcements. And I really do appreciate you sharing all that you have today. And like I said, we don't need to know all the answers. I kind of enjoy and appreciate not having all the answers yet and be able to ideate and speculate a little amongst the community. And I also think that as you're obviously listening, you're hearing the feedback, you're at a lot of these in real life meetups and these in real life events. I think some of that speculation, some of the ideation amongst the community members could be helpful in planning and sculpting exactly what the clubhouse might be, exactly what those experiences, or what might be included at the clubhouse, and getting ideas. So I'm enjoying the, like I said, the speculation around what it might be, and really, really looking forward to not just the clubhouse, but looking forward to these in real life meetups. I'll be, unless something changes, I'm planning on doing paintball here in Tampa next weekend. And if there is something at Consensus, I'll be there for sure. So really appreciate, and I know there can be community led, but I think it does mean a lot that not only is Yuga helping promote these events, potentially help fund or subsidize some of these events, but participating is also very impactful. It's very meaningful. I'll speak not only for myself, but on behalf of many others. The fact that yourself and Cam and Baron and many others on the team not only just show up and like check a box at these events, but are very active. Like like at least my read and everyone I've been, it's like you genuinely enjoy being there. You genuinely, it doesn't seem like it looks like, oh, this is a job and they're there because they have to check the box and they're being paid, so they have to go because their boss told them to go, but rather like really enjoy being there. And that is, I don't know. I don't think that can be forced. At least it doesn't, how I sense how authentic and genuine it is. It's, when we say it's a club and people we enjoy hanging out with and spending time with, it's beyond just the members. It's everyone I've interacted with from a Yuga standpoint, everyone that's on payroll truly seems like they really enjoy being there. They really enjoy being part of the community. And I think that is, from my experience of like going to trade shows and conferences, it's very unique here. It's not something you often see at, a traditional trade show or traditional in real life meetup. Often half the people are there just because they have to be, because it's their job, or they're trying to sell you something. They want you to land you as a client in a vendor client relationship. It's really unique, and something that I think it's part of the magic that is these in real life meetups, is the active participation from the team members. I know it's hard to, and it may be impossible to go to all of them, but I think it does. I think it makes a big impact. It means a lot, speaking not only for myself, but I think on behalf of many others.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I think it's great to see everyone at the events, but the team really does like going to it, to the point where, we have to just like, we have to make sure that people aren't stretching themselves too far if they, travel a really long way to try to make it to all the events. So 100% agree with you there, and I'm looking forward to seeing people at the meetups.
Likewise. Figge, really appreciate your time today. We kept you far longer than I was expecting, but open invite with any time that, whether it's a big update or an announcement, not those announcements, but I appreciate how you're rolling things out. And the update's been very, very well received, far beyond just any movement in floor price. Like, it's my timeline is full of apes once again. I'd love to see it. There's a lot of a genuine excitement, not just from the core community members, not just from OGs, but I'm seeing a lot of, I don't want to say naysayers, but some crypto personalities who might have been critical of Yuga, might have been critical of the club in the past. And it seems like, some heads are turning, like, well, they're really doing the thing. They actually are building out on the other side. They're doing this Clubhouse thing. In fact, I think I saw an infamous Beanie who said, I think he called that, I think it's not out of range that apes flip punks again this cycle. I'm not saying that. Beanie said that, and not making this PvP or a floor watching experiment. But I do think that you've captured the attention, and I mean, always have, never lost it. Like you said, you Google NFTs, you see Bored Ape Yacht Club, you see apes. It really has been, I think, finally getting the credit and respect that's deserved for the massive undertaking that is Other Side, how far you've already gotten. And I think others are starting to be able to connect the dots of where this thing might get to. So all that being said, Figge, is there anything that I didn't ask you today? Anything else that you were hoping to share with everyone before we let you get out of here?
I'm going to come on and we're going to talk more, just more regularly, so that we don't have to wait for big, discussions about announcements. Like, I'm happy to come on and chop it up with you about who the real Satoshi is any day. But yeah, I think part of it is, if people are watching, like, the unique holder counts of Bored Ape Yacht Club are a lot.
All-time high.
And yeah, all-time unique holder count, to get into the club, to collect a mutant, to collect an OG BAYC. Once those are in a lot of unique hands, like, that starts to put us in an interesting place. And yeah, if anybody has any thoughts or concerns, like, please feel free to reach out to somebody on our community team. You could reach out to me. My Twitter is usually a mess, so just give me a second to go through it, but I usually try to clean it out as often as I can. And shout out to all the people who are going to go to the meetups. Hope you meet some people. If you see a new face, please, like, take it upon yourself, if you're in the club, to treat yourself like a Welcome Apes person. Help them get oriented. Help them meet other people in the club. And yeah, let's kill it. Let's have a good week.
Awesome. I guess you made me think of one thing there when you're talking about these in real life meetups. Are these member exclusive, or is it vary by meetup? If someone's, curious about the club, is this something they could attend, or is it you need to have an ape or a mute to come to, any of these April based in real life, or these April in real life meetups?
I don't think you should. Like, I actually think it's better if, like, the core is obviously going to be apes, right? But if somebody wants to bring a friend because, like, maybe wants to learn more about the club, like, that's the right venue to exclude. If community meetup, that'd be a great way for people to kind of like get introduced. I don't think that we're like going to hard press anybody on that. In fact, it's actually probably better for us for, onboarding more people if we're able to open it up to other folks. But yeah, I'll say this: I would put the power closer to the communities. Like it's really up to the local organizer what type of rule set that they want to make. But that's my own perspective. Again, I think we shouldn't coordinate necessarily like in a centralized way. That's just like my perspective, and I leave it up to like the leaders on the ground to make their call about how they want to handle it.
Totally makes sense. And for what it's worth, like I'll respect any of those local leaders and understand sometimes you might have capacity limits, or it's something that, paintball that costs to participate. But I do agree. I think it's the best way to onboard new members to the club. It's not onboarding the masses. It's onboarding one at a time or a few at a time. It's them experiencing what the club is. And while we can share what the club is in a digital environment, or we can bring them into a Discord or a group chat, it's really hard to convey that what it really is. It's hard to convey who the individuals are and how great they are. It's much easier to do so in person. And like I was saying, she's unfortunately got a work event. She's not able to make it, but I was gonna bring my girlfriend to paintball. She's looking forward to it. Like not even like a big paintball fan, just looking forward to meeting some friends. And it definitely has a positive impact. And I mean, we see it every year after Ape Fest. People go to Ape Fest. It's their first exposure to the club in person. And without fail, people are going, they pick up their first mutant or their ape shortly after Ape Fest to actually join the club. And I think these in real life events are an extension of that, just as I feel the Clubhouse will be, and really, really looking forward to it. But yeah, Figge.
Yeah, you're saying it's not a way to get the masses. That may be true, but anybody who's onboarded this way is like the way to onboard Diamond Hands people. Like if you get in, you just said it at Ape Fest, people buy into the club after Ape Fest too. And those people tend to hold it for a while because you have that in real life experience. You're not just buying into something, you're buying in for deeper reasons, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. And I do. I mean, I flashed up those other social clubs. I think anyone who's ever been part of who's ever paid initiation or annual fees for one of those social clubs, or even a country club, or even a chamber of commerce, or any sort of networking group, if they've participated in that and they're familiar with like what those are, forget about cost, just like the value you get out of them. And then you go to one Ape in real life meetup, it just drives it home. It makes it such a, oh, okay, I get it now type of experience. And yeah, so if you're in the club, get to one of these in real life meetups. If you're curious, reach out to one of your friends who's in the club and go into one of these in real life meetups and ask them if you can tag along. Figge, really appreciate your time today. Thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Greatly appreciate all that you and the team are doing to not just move the club and other side and the Clubhouse forward, but really Web3 at large. It's not just Google NFTs and you see Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's whether you like it, love it, embrace it or not, like a leader in the space. And I think beyond just NFT PFP collections really does, we saw I said my timeline's been full of apes over the past week. It trickles down. Like it's lifted the sentiment and the excitement for all NFT PFP communities. And so truly appreciate you pushing the space forward. And I know some of that's with intent, but also just by being leaders and continuing to ship and continue to build, it has an impact far beyond just the Yuga family. And greatly appreciate the leadership.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
No, my pleasure. Anytime. And yeah, next time we'll be proving our case as to who the founder of Bitcoin is, a kid. But no, really enjoyed the conversation today, and shout out to also to our friends and partners over at Unvault. Appreciate Aaron joining us. I'm going to pin Aaron's post he shared about his father. I thought it was a great post and kind of a good feel good story. I mean, feel good probably isn't the right way to put that, as he lost someone that was very very close to him. But I hope that someday my kids will talk about me like Aaron talked about his father. And go give love. I just pinned this up top now. Go give Aaron some love on that. And Gimbley says, please do not continue to move to Florida, though, as we talk about the Clubhouse. And earlier today I was sharing that the top markets for millennials to move to, it's number 1's Tampa, number 7 St. Pete. Forget I said that. It's no longer. Now it's overcrowded. You don't want to be here. I kid. I still am. We'll figure it out. There's room we can move inland if we get too much more crowded. But thank you very much, Hans. Appreciate the very generous Pingu tip over there in the abstract streets. Appreciate everyone in the chat today. Very vibrant, both in abstract as well as YouTube. The X chat popping off once again. Appreciate all the love in the space, getting this thing warmed up for Figge today. And if you missed any of the conversation, the recording, the X recording will be available as soon as we finish the show. Or you can just head over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button, and you can watch the full replay over on YouTube at any time. We're also live on all the podcast platforms. That podcast recording goes out. If you're like myself and 1 in a million who enjoys listening to podcasts at 1.5x, and you'd rather hear the speed up version, you can do that both on YouTube or on Apple, Spotify, wherever you prefer to take your podcast in. But while you're there, do us a favor, give us that 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way. Greatly appreciated by both Payne and myself. And we'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern time. We're live every weekday here on X, YouTube, and also streaming over at Abstract. But we'll be back tomorrow. We've got we may have a guest tomorrow. Someone just DM me doing some new, fun, exciting stuff. So maybe a special guest tomorrow. We definitely we'll hit on a little bit more on Dominion. I'm excited now that we've booked Bitcoin Vegas. I hope to see a few of you out there on the ground in Vegas. And then again, if you're in the Tampa market, let me go pin that up top too before I hit the play out. Join us for paintball next Saturday. That's Ape Whale is spearheading the Tampa meetup. Should be a lot of fun. I pinned that up top. And I think if there's not a link in there, go hit up Ape Whale for the link to get registered for that. You do need to register. It's free. There's no cost for paintball, but there's a $50 deposit, which gets refunded as soon as you show up. It just helps them get head count and know how many people will actually be attending. But really enjoyed the conversation today. Thank you all so much for adding to the conversation as we play out. Not only those rating reviews, you can go join the newsletter as well. That comes out just once a week on Saturdays. We don't spam you, but go drop your email. You can find that at coffeewithcaptain.com. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.